Wings report in.
Red 10 standing by.
Red 7 standing by.
Red 3 standing by.
Red 6 standing by.
Red 9 standing by.
Red 2 standing by.
Red 11 standing by.
Red 5 standing by.
I promise you that whatever happens, I will never change the theme music. This is me, by the way. It's been a real rough week. I'm going in hot, too. It doesn't sound like it, but I am. Boy, I got some stories to tell. It's been a really rough week. Time to come back for it. Time to snap back. Here we go. Live from Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city in the world. My secret bunker in the middle of the Nevada high desert. This is the Rational Male. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was a really good show, too, by the way. Yes, Access Vegas was superior. The Kung Fu was superior this time. Yep. But first, his words.
Would you rather kiss me or kiss the prettiest girl in the world for $1 million?
$1 million to kiss the prettiest girl in the world?
Yes.
Do I get $1 million if I kiss you?
No, you only get $1 million if you kiss the prettiest girl in the world.
Well, obviously I'd pick the prettiest girl in the world and get $1 million. We'd be rich.
Yes, we would. But did you think to say, I'm the prettiest girl in the world?
But you're not.
Would you rather?
This whole thing was staged, by the way. You can see where she's stopping in the dialogue. They fucked it up.
Disillusioned with the life they had prior. They're like leaving the cave, so to speak, allegorically. And also,
if it were just that women were coming into their own now and they were recognizing the oppression of which they were not conscious previously, then why would they keep getting less and less happy? You know, at a certain point, aren't you supposed to turn the corner and become more happy in your independence? But that's not what's happened. For 35 years, it just gets worse, worse, and worse, including relative to men.
Not the most stunning girl. It doesn't matter if what qualities she have. She becomes invisible. A bit like with men. If they're not tall, a lot of women will ignore their existence, even if they've got all the other great traits. Similarly, if she's not absolutely sexy, is what men are now attracted to. They're looking for sexy more than ever before because it's normalized, it's Instagram, it's pornography.
No, you fucking hack. They've always been interested in sexy, but hey, keep going.
If she's not sexy, they don't even notice that woman. So that's why they think women like this are unicorns, but they are there. You just don't notice them because they don't have their boobs on your For You page.
Why do you think infidelity occurs most commonly in your experience?
I would honestly say if you ever get cheated.
All right. First off, this is not a real psychologist. We'll discuss that today too. But whenever I listen to her, like, I got some more ahead of this, but she sounds like Ozzy Osbourne. Like when Ozzy's drunk or he's like trying to fumble and try to find words. It's the same kind of like dynamic.
I know people hate me for this, but it's usually your fault. And the reason I say that, particularly with men, a cheating woman shows you every red flag from day one. If you choose to ignore red flags, you'll pay the price. In life, you pay prices. There's price tags. Now,
How profound.
Everybody shows you that the cheaters show you they're going to be a cheat. And how they show it is very simple. Their values.
Guilty, guilty, guilty. Want to know who has more power in a relationship? You simply need to consider who is less committed than
Where have I heard this before?
the other. I wish this weren't the case, but it's true. An easy way to tell who is less committed than the other in any relationship is to observe who issues ultimatums.
Wait, what? Where have I heard this before, too?
To whom? A few weeks ago, I met up with Logan Ury, author of How Not to Die Alone. She's a lovely person. At one point in the discussion, we were talking about marriage, and she said to me, behind every proposal is an ultimatum. And we both laughed because I think we could...
Yeah, you both laughed because you know that a certain individual once said that ultimatums are the ultimate expression of powerlessness.
Both acknowledge the truth in that statement. Now, the point of an ultimatum is to apply emotional pressure on the other person to motivate behavior in compliance with your agenda. So,
no, it is a confession of powerlessness, Doctor.
It's powerful in the sense of my working definition of power, getting other people to act in the service of your goals.
Also, patently
wrong. And it does this by forcing the other person to move, rule of thumb 1, while simultaneously expressing low commitment for the relationship, rule of thumb 2.
Wrong. Is highly attracted to that. When I do like interviews with a female coach that maybe works with men, and I say something that generalization like the feminine, meaning all.
Okay. Why are you working with a female coach to begin with? That's what I want to know. A female coach that works with men. That, you know, I feel like I should just move on to the next one.
All things feminine. I'll say is highly attracted to a man who's comfortable in his own skin, knows where he's going.
Like, listen to that bullshit here. Wait, I got to back this up. This is too good not to.
Knows where he's going and looks like he's having a good time going.
Comfortable in his own skin, knows where he's going, and looks like he's having a good time doing it. Can you be any more vague, please? I love this. I'm comfortable in my own skin. Who the fuck isn't comfortable in their own skin? Get the fuck out of here.
And the women, coaches, interviewers, podcasters on the always go, oh, yes. Their nervous system is reacting to that thing. I didn't say the guy's an. I didn't say he treats women bad. He's centered in his own body.
Yes, but he gives off assholishness.
He's differentiated. He's asking himself, what do I want? What's important to me? Following through on that. Not leaving the messes behind. Not trying to be perfect. Not seeking anybody's approval. He's on mission. He's on purpose. And in my experience,
God, we're coming back to that one. That's too good.
Without government suppression of sexuality, let's say, what we're seeing is a wide-scale abandonment of sexuality, such that this is particularly true in Japan and South Korea. I think it's
I put this one in here. I feel like I have to describe every one of these now. I put this one in here because it is like so contradictory with everything else he's been putting out lately that it just blows me away. It's like, oh, well, we're rejecting sexuality. Well, what do you want us to do, Jordan?
30% now of young people in Japan and Korea under the ages of 30 are virgins. We see it now that half of women in the West are unmarried at 30. Half of them won't have children, and 90% of them will regret it. We see the wide scale turning to pornography, and you could think about that as the ultimate expression of short-term hedonic gratification. But we see the consequence of that, and the consequence of that is inability to perform sexually and the disruption of actual relationships.
Here had a phase.
Most people have their phase.
You said some of your bartending friends, they've.
Why can you not say ho? You could say ho.
Had major phases.
I wouldn't really call it a phase if it's a lifestyle.
How much of a body count are we talking here?
The highest I've ever heard from a girl, it was like 340 something.
What? 340?
That's
the highest.
Wow, shocking, isn't it, Michael?
The highest I've ever heard is like 100.
I've heard way higher too.
Then what?
Then like 340. I've heard.
Welcome to planet Earth, Michael.
I'm just saying.
This is so great.
100's the highest you've heard?
Yeah, and I thought that was crazy.
It's just recognizing our evolution. The reality is women were designed. One of the reasons why women can move.
Notice that clip there, that jump.
Move on quickly from heartbreak and relationships and go from one man to another is in evolutionary times. If they lost their partner to war or to predators or whatever it is, they would have to find another one, even if
kind of like the war brides dynamic, Puddin'.
They shared him with another bunch of women. They would have to do that, otherwise they die. So we have these instincts in us that we can't always explain. Now, a woman's instinct is always to be somewhat.
No, we can explain it. It's just when men explain it, we sound like misogyny.
Looked after. It doesn't even have to be financial, but just knowing that a man looks after, that could mean, did you get home safe? Did you was work okay? Did you get on your flight okay? Just checking in. Women really value that. Yeah, that checking in, whether it's financial investment or emotional investment, they need it in order to feel safe.
Yeah, there's a fine line between feeling safe and surveillance.
For a man, the nurturing is really important for him. That nurture is their way of understanding you appreciate them.
Yeah, no, they're way of understanding appreciation is blowjobs.
When you nurture them, they take it to mean you love and appreciate me. When you don't nurture them, they take it to mean that I'm an ATM here and no.
Matt Rife, ladies and gentlemen, I am doing my damnedest to get him on Access Vegas, by the way. So Matt, call me, please. We would Mike and I, that would be a golden opportunity. Matt, if you're ever doing a gig in Vegas, please drop. I'll put you on Access Vegas amongst all these women. That would be fucking genius. If we can get you on, I would love to do that. Yep. I love this guy, man. This he's 25 years old, man, and he's so dialed in. And I'll tell you, the thing that's funny is like he's so popular because he's like, he don't give a fuck. He'll just go up there and you want to talk about red pill. Remember I told you, if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to hear the secret to million, here's how you become a millionaire. You do what Matt Rife is doing right now. You want to know why he's so bloody fucking popular? It's because he don't give a fuck. It's the same thing that I said when I said, if you really want to turn that up, there we go. If you really want to you want to have a hit series on Netflix, you want to have a hit series on you want to know why Jack Reacher is a hit series right now? Because they don't give a flying. It is unapologetically masculine. And how long that's going to last, I don't know, but we'll see. But Matt Rife is a perfect example of what I've been harping on really for the last probably 5 or 6 years. Go and write red pill fiction. Go and write the next Han Solo or Captain Kirk, or just this unapologetically just in your face masculine character, and have him be right. Just write him, like ruthlessly write him in at the expense of the feminine, at the expense of strong female characters. Do it. You will be successful. But Matt Rife is a perfect example of that. The Jack Reacher effect, perfect example of that. Do it. You know why? Because it's so rare right now. Like, I can't believe this. And people will say, oh, it must be one of those MAGA red pill guys who's writing this. Yeah, it is. Go with it. Stay on top of it. Please keep doing it. For the love of God, please do it. Yes. I love this too. Like I prefer stories about the bad guy. Of course you do, because you're conditioned to love the Riddler. You're conditioned to love the Riddler, the Joker. Might be the Riddler too. The Joker, right? You're conditioned to like the guy who's the underdog, and then today the underdog is the incel. Step away from that bullshit right now. I mean, if that's your grift, whatever, go for it. But like I was gonna say, you want somebody. The problem is when you're into like the problem with loving the bad guy today is the bad guy is a creep. The bad guy is the Joker. He's an incel. He's the dangerous incel. He's the one that's on the NGO, the Watchdog NGO list. He's the one that's on the DHS list. Yeah. wait. I gotta. Yeah, this guy, king of the incels. Now, thank you very much. Somebody called me that today on Twitter. Yeah, thanks for all your super chats. We got to do some announcements, and I got to get to some things first before we get into today's topic. The reason why is because this has been one hell of a fucking week for Rolo Tomasi. I will tell you. Oh, why is he talking about himself in the third person? I don't give to fly. Go fuck yourself. It's been a rough day or rough week for me, period. And I'll tell you why. First off, let's see. We did. It's been a whirlwind. I went on Wednesday. I flew into Vegas. I got the keys to my new place, and I have. There's nothing in the house, by the way. There's not even a bed. I had to go borrow a air mattress from my daughter because I didn't even have a place to sleep. I just had a house with just empty rooms, and so I had to go and do that. I met up with the producers of Rebel Entertainment. You guys are going to be hearing more and more about Rebel Entertainment very soon because they've been doing a documentary. They've been doing a documentary. I don't want to say it's on the Manosphere proper, but it is about sort of like modern masculinity, and it is about like they wanted to call it the simpidemic, which means something different to me. I figure I'm going to have to do this entire show with a pen or in my hand or a pencil in my hand, because apparently that's how you emphasize points in the Petersonian world. But anyways, I'll use my hands. I'll gesticulate for you. But the long and the short of it is I went and I did an interview, a very long, like half day, about a half day, all morning anyways, interview with the guys, a feature interview with Rebel Entertainment. And it is a full production movie. They are pro. They're not out there with fucking, GoPros, and they're not out there with they're not even out there with like A6400s like I shoot this show on. They're out there with full cinematic cameras and the whole thing. If you followed the Access Vegas Instagram, because my Instagram is still banned and still suspended after 2 weeks now, even though I've paid quite a bit of money to get it back online, no effect. I was going to say, if you ever, depending on how many followers you have on your Instagram, I would be very cautious about paying somebody to get your Instagram back up. If it's worth it to you to do so, go ahead. I now see the wisdom in holding backup accounts. Say, hey, go follow my backup account. So what I've been doing primarily is, if you're wondering where I am on Instagram, I'm nowhere, still nowhere. But I have been really hammering the Access Vegas Instagram page. So if you want to get in touch with me on Instagram, I am on Access_Vegas. That is that's the account name for Access Vegas's Instagram account. I've been posting a lot on there, trying to sort of build the followership on that. I've been trying to do that anyways, but it's kind of hard because I have to like spread my efforts and energies between like 4 or 5 different accounts right now. But that's where I am primarily. So if you want to DM me in any way on Instagram, go to Access_Vegas. That is our official account for Access Vegas. And I was posting some pictures of the interview that I was doing there. Also, so Wednesday night, it decides to rain all night long in Las Vegas, which normally wouldn't be that big a deal. The problem is the guys from Rebel Entertainment wanted to meet me at Jean Lake Dry Lake Bed, which is a little bit, it's about like 15-20 minutes south of Las Vegas. It's on the outskirts of Las Vegas, and it is generally a dry lake bed, except when it rains all night the night before. Then it is a very muddy, wet, messy lake bed. And they wanted me to bring my Camaro out there. Now, normally I wouldn't do something as foolish as I did on Thursday morning, but I got up at about 5 a.m. and I had been up at 5 a.m. the night before. So now I'm going on probably about 4 or 5 hours sleep, going out there doing this. They wanted me to do donuts in the mud in my fucking nice Camaro. And I'm like, okay, as long as you're going to pay for the detail job afterwards, because there's definitely going to be some costs incurred from that. Went out there, did the interview. It is 37 degrees out there, and I have to look like it's a hot summer day, and I'm freezing my fucking testicles off. So I'm out there doing that. Went and did that. Later on, we did the Access Vegas interview the show du jour that I announced last Sunday. And I said, you TradCon sons of bitches, you want to show up? Here it is. Door's open. And the door was open and nobody showed. But you know who did show? Marquette Burton. Devon. Is it Devon Burton? I don't know if he has a hyphenated last name. I always call him, his last name is Burton. Or is it Devon? Devon? Anyways, Marquette from Saint and Sinner showed up. It was great. I loved having him. It was awesome. It was probably one of the best shows we've ever done on Access Vegas. If you haven't seen it, you can see it right here on this channel, or you can go over to the Access Vegas channel and you can see it there. It was a fantastic conversation and made the entire day, which was otherwise really fucked up, worth it. So we had Myron and Fresh from Fresh and Fit. They were there. They were in town. That, as far as I know, they're still in town because it's the Super Bowl. So if today's a little bit of a short show, you'll know why. Because I'm going to go watch my Niners, hopefully bite the tar out of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. So I had them on. It was myself, Mike Sartain. We had Aaron Clary himself, Captain Capitalism. Cappy was on with us as well. We had Jake Shields, who is an MMA fighter who I think he's retired now, but he knows John Fitch. And I didn't know that they were familiar. They had fought together. And now I've got some questions for John Fitch. So John Fitch from Rule Zero. And so I will be. I'm going to see if I can get the two of them together in the same building and in Sticky Paws and see if I can get them to talk to each other. But anyways, it was a fantastic conversation. It's probably we got nothing but positive reviews for this. There's probably going to be some really good clips. And I will tell you the one thing: if there's it was a wonderful conversation. We were there only for like maybe 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours tops. And just one after the other. You know, we read super chats, but it was like guys' time. There were no women whatsoever in there. We were waiting for somebody to show up, but nobody ever did. No, none of the douche crew from whatever podcast, the moral crew, the moral majority didn't show up. So, and again, not a flame on Brian. I know he runs a tight ship, but like, as far as like chasing the rest of these guys, Lila Rose, nobody's going to show. No one will show up because they don't have the balls. They don't believe in what they're saying. Simple as that. When they want to talk about God and Christ and all this stuff and those red pill guys, this and everything, just like move it, keep scrolling, just keep scrolling, because they don't believe in what they're saying. They absolutely don't. If they did, they'd show up. And you know what? They're welcome to show up anytime they fucking want to. They never will. People ask me about like Andrew Wilson. What happened to Andrew? Andrew had to go get baptized, actually. At least I could say he has the conviction to say, hey, I was going to go get baptized. Which sounds kind of interesting considering like what we were going to be talking about. But we will have Andrew back in. I promise you that. He makes a lot of trips out here to Nevada anyways, because he's got family in Reno, and I think he gets to Vegas often enough. But I promise you, we will have Andrew on. I'm going to see if I can't get Andrew and James Sexton, divorce attorney, in on the same show. That's another thing. I am officially in Las Vegas. Not now, but I will be starting March 1st. I'm going to do my Las Vegas residency. If you know what residency is, in Las Vegas, you'll get like the Scorpions or the Jonas Brothers or Celine Dion, or I forget who else is doing residency there. But what they do is, if they're big top name entertainers, and you can go see them perform nightly or like semi-weekly anyways at particular venues or casino resorts and stuff like that. But so I'm considering the next year of me being in Las Vegas my Rolo Las Vegas residency. So that's going to define 2024 for me. I will be in Vegas more than I will be in Reno, starting March 1st. So I'll be there. And that's not to say I won't be doing shows from this studio, from the Northern Command Center. I probably will, but it probably won't be until summer. I probably won't be until like the latter half of June or July that I get back in here and on any regular basis. So I'm kind of, my wife wants to be a snowbird, I guess. So she wants to be here in the winter months and in Reno. I should say Reno in the summer months and Vegas in the winter months, because it's just better that way. Anyways, so my residency really kind of started this week. But anyways, I will be spending more time in Vegas. And so as such, what benefits do you get as a result of this? Well, you get the benefits of me getting trying to work out better shows, or I'd say more often. You get more content. You're going to get more value out of Rolo and the Rational Male. You're going to get James Sexton. You're going to get Andrew Wilson. You're going to get interviews that I couldn't necessarily do because I'd have to be flying back and forth. And it just makes more sense, like monetarily, financially, for me to be here because or to be in Vegas than it is to be up in here in Reno. But I think of here as like Nevada, because there's basically three places that you will find Rolo. You will find me in Las Vegas. You'll find me in Reno, and you'll find me in Lake Tahoe. Those are the three places. God, I really want to make an announcement about Lake Tahoe, but I can't yet. I can't really say something about that, but there's some really fun shit that we have in the works. We have a lot of irons in the fire right now. So anyways, I go through through Access Vegas. It was a fantastic show. Later on, we went to do Babes in Toyland. If you've been following the Access Vegas page, you can see like a lot of the pictures that was there. I was there with Maya Allegra. She was kind of my friend. She was my friend date. Friend to date the whole time I was there. Giovanni Sanders joined up with me. Giovanni is the guy that does the Access Vegas theme song and our outro song, as you guys know. People ask me about that all the time, like, who is this? That's Giovanni Sanders. Jevani Sanders. You'll find him on Spotify. You'll find him on Apple iTunes, I think. But he just got a record contract, so bravo, well done to you. He's it's an up and coming, like kind of a newer record label out of Arkansas. I'm still trying to get him to move to Las Vegas, and I think that after Babes in Toyland, he might want to do that. I think, not me. I think the girls convinced him to move to Las Vegas, but I'm trying to work something out so he can do his residency in Las Vegas as well. But anyways, I hung out with Giovanni for quite some time. And then my car broke down. my Camaro. Something I must have fucked something up in the dry lake, the wet lake bed that I was doing. So I don't know what's going on with my poor Camaro. So I'll find out on on Valentine's Day on Wednesday. So I'm going to be going down. I'll be back in Las Vegas for another round of Access Vegas on Thursday, and then we'll be doing another one on the 22nd. I believe it's the 22nd. Yeah. So I'll be doing those two shows. The 29th, I won't be doing a show because I'll be driving from Reno to Las Vegas for my residency to finally, move into, it's not officially move into to my place in Las Vegas. And it's, I'm not too far from Cappy, by the way. I will be at about 12 minutes away from Aaron Clary. So I will technically be his neighbor in a way. For better or worse. Me and Cappy would probably be doing some more stuff together too, which I think you guys will probably love. But so I got that going on. Then, of course, I got the bad news. Bad news is, I got three things of bad news. So I want to give you the good news before I give you the bad news. The main thing is, let me just get through this one. Ned rebroke his arm again. As I said before, they pulled the pins out. They pulled the plate out of Ned's what's his radius right here, and they had him in the sea. It's called a spoon splint, right? So it looks like a spoon that goes like up and along the edge of the arm, and it's been working out pretty well. But I think it might have been because of the pins and the screws that were there. So it has kind of like a hairline fracture, maybe just a little bit bigger than a hairline fracture. So it's not necessarily life threatening, but we're going in on Tuesday. Once again, we had x-rays of it done on that Friday. That's why I had to, if you're wondering why I had to bail out early on Friday, I even got a earlier flight because I had to go down there to take him in to have them look at this. So he does have a new refracture and he is in a hard cast right now. So the good news in all that is that even though he did refracture it, it's a hairline fracture, but it is kind of a little bit of a torsion fracture. And so we got to keep an eye on it. And he is now in a hard cast. If there's some good news to this, he is stitched up. So he doesn't have an open wound or anything like he's had for the longest time now. So the good news is that we keep him in a hard cast. The possibility of him like recovering and like re-knitting that bone is much better now than it would have been before. So that's, I'm kind of, on Theos, man. I hope he can make it. Again, I'm again faced with the decision of whether to put him down or to keep him going. And again, I made the decision to say, you know what, 50% is not good enough. I want to know 100% for sure that he's, that break is in a really bad place. So we don't have the option of like taking the foot, having it amputated or anything like that, because there's arteries there and it's just the blood flow is very difficult. So, and he can't really be a dog. And I don't like it when I would not put an animal through not being able to be a dog. So I have respect for him. Now that's bad news number one. Bad news number two, as you'll see, if you're looking at the description in this video right now, and I have to be deathly serious right now, there is a GoFundMe for Thor Markinson. Now, this is Red Pill Thor. Red Pill Thor has been part of Rule Zero for 4 or 5 years now. He was part of the new, I think the second wave of our rookies, right? Rookie year. But he has been a staple of the Red Pill for a very long time. He hit me up about a week ago and said he had a stroke, and it was a small stroke, a minor stroke. He was blind in one eye, but he said the vision was coming back. And I just thought maybe that was just it. Well, you'll have to forgive me if I get a little choked up here for a minute, but a lot of the stuff he was talking about was very similar to the story that I was getting from Pat Campbell prior to Pat Campbell being prescribed with brain cancer. So, come to find out that it wasn't, maybe it was a stroke, but come to find out that Thor, and he typed this to me, so he's still with it, he's still, along, he's still here, but he had a 5-centimeter growth that was discovered in his brain because he went in for the stroke to have a scan, and that's what they discovered. He has a 5-centimeter growth in his noggin, and he goes into surgery, I want to say either tomorrow or Tuesday at Cedar Sinai in Los Angeles. If you know anything about Thor's situation, his wife, Melissa, my wife's name is Missy too, by the way. So his Missy was in I want to say a hit and run or a car accident. And she was, I think she's quadriplegic or she's paraplegic right now. I'm not sure. Anyways, he has been like dutiful and waiting on her hand and foot. And he has been her support for the longest time because she can't do much for herself. Now she had gone through a series of surgeries, and this has been something ongoing for at least the last 2 or 3 years, as I recall. And probably Aaron Clary knows a little bit more about this than I do. Thor and I are very much good, very solid, good friends. Thor was the reason I bought my Camaro. I shit you not. He was the reason I bought the Camaro. Probably unwisely, but we got in that Camaro, put the top down. We're like, I got to buy this car because we were having a great time. And but he's been a really good friend of mine for a long time. I was hoping to sort of use his expertise in hormone optimization on a new project I'm working on, but he's definitely going to be in the hospital for quite some time. He's literally going in for brain surgery. I want to say either tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on whatever the schedule is. But I think they're going in to remove that. But I do know this is that the same thing happened to Pat Campbell. Now, Pat had probably he was a little bit more advanced, I think, but I am getting like really flashbacks of Pat Campbell. And Thor is about the same age as Pat was when Pat passed away. He was 60, 61, and I believe that's where Thor is at right now. So that being said, if you guys are, you have the funds and you feel the spirit move you, we have a GoFundMe page down there. Glenn Lawrence is the guy who established this, but there's a GoFundMe page to help out Thor and Missy because clearly there's a lot of medical bills. And now the goal you'll see on the GoFundMe is for $100,000, but it's probably going to be a whole lot more than $100,000. So anyways, if you are so inclined, whatever you can give would be very much appreciated. I am talking to certain individuals who are probably better paid than I am to help out sort of anonymously with this as well. So just to let you know that even though you can see what the GoFundMe build up is, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't other individuals that are contributing as well. It might be that they just simply don't want to have their names out there, but they're going to make anonymous donations as well. And I've been sort of, I hate to say, fundraising and campaigning for them ever since I've was made aware of this. So we'll see what happens. And today, by the way, if you are going to super chat today, I will be taking whatever the donations from today's show, and I'll be taking those super chats and putting them over onto the GoFundMe myself. So that said, that was bad news number 2. Now, last but not least, bad news number 3. I got a call from my very good friend, Robert Kiyosaki, on the exact same day that I discovered that Thor had a growth in his head. So let's see. My Camaro takes a shit. My dog re-breaks his arm. Thor's got a 5-centimeter growth in his head. And Robert Kiyosaki calls me. He's done this once before, but he calls me while he's in the hospital recovering from his second heart surgery. So I talked to him. I feel really bad for Robert because he's kind of in a position where he doesn't have too many people who like really, care for him, I guess. So I consider Robert one of my better friends. So I talked to him for quite some time. He just wants words of encouragement. Now, granted, I don't have to worry too much about doing a GoFundMe for Robert Kiyosaki. He's pretty much okay with what he's doing. This is, like I said, his second heart surgery. And so I will probably be doing another birthday thing with him, assuming he, recovers from this. So, adequately. He sounded pretty good though. I will say that Robert's, for going through 2 of these, I think he's strong as a horse. He's definitely got his shit together, and he works out. He's in the gym as much as a 77-year-old man can be in the gym. He's pretty with it. But so he calls me up and lets me know about his second heart surgery. Now, the first time he called me up, it was pretty much the same thing. And I was shocked that there was a first one to begin with, but now there's a second one. And I just wanted to throw that out there because there's a lot of shit that's going to happen this year, man. And I don't know that how much of it is going to be really good and how much of it is going to be really bad. But it's interesting to me to go from like highs, really super highs to really super lows. So the day before, I'm hanging out and just yucking it up with Giovanni Sanders and Maya Allegra, and I'm going to Babes in Toyland, and I'm hanging out with all these people. Oh, by the way, Myron and Fresh were there too. I saw Sneeko there. I saw who else was there? I mean, by the way, if I saw you at Babes in Toyland and you're watching right now, and I didn't have time to really shake your hand, I apologize. I always try to get everybody's name, and if I can have a moment to have a conversation with you, I will. It was freezing ass cold at that event. It was outdoors, and if I'd have known it was outdoors, I would have worn my big woolly Ken jacket, my big old furry Ken jacket out there, and just would have gone all full pimp. But oh my God, I got to do something, man. I got to do something new. When I get to Vegas, I gotta change my look up. I got to do something different. I just feel like I need to. Maybe it's time. But I tell you, man, it's interesting. Yeah, too famous. I'm only famous on the internet, dear. I really am. I love it when people do that though. Like I can like Giovanni and I were walking from the Valet because it was at the Sahara, and we were walking from the Valet into, was it Aliso, I think is the name of the club. And we're walking in there, and I can't even get from Valet to the front of the club without like 7 people going, "Hey, Rolo." And it's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice. But I understand why, like, people who are like, you know, sort of semi-famous, like sometimes they think, "Oh, you're an asshole." Well, it's like, I'm trying to get from the Valet to just to the front of the club. Meet me at the front of the club. I'll shake your hand and hang out with you there. But it was nice. It was good to see people. I talked to Joe Marin there, who I'm doing some work with. We're going to be I announced this, by the way, on if you're part of my if you're part of MOA, which is Men of Action, that is Mike Sartain's group. But I don't have the link now. But if you decide to join up, please use my link for that. But I'm going to be doing a lot more work with MOA forthcoming this year. I'm also doing stuff with Joe Marin. We're doing a let's say a veterans group for guys, not veterans, but like an older mature man's group through MOA, and it'll be the 45 to 65 demographic. I call it the divorced man's sort of reintegration, a sexual market or sexual economy reintegration program, or the sexual marketplace reintegration program. So if you're part of my Patreon group, you probably already know this, but please join my Patreon group. If you have questions, if you want one-on-one counseling, or if you want a group counseling. Not only do I spend a lot of time with MOA, I also have my own Patreon group. So, and I limit that group. I don't know how Mike does it, man. Mike's got like he's got 120 guys in his Zoom call. I'm like, I don't even know Zoom could handle that many. But when I do my Patreon, I limit it to 25 guys, just so that you sort of keep it a little bit more, you know, we can direct traffic, I think, a little bit better. We're up to 10, 12 guys right now. So we're almost half full. So if you want to get involved in that, the link is below the fold. You have to click more for the links, but it's my Patreon link is in the description down below. So I've got that going. Oh, thank you for that. New Horizons. That's my Men of Action link right there. And then once again, if you are so inclined, please donate to Thor's GoFundMe for his medical expenses and everything that's going on with Thor. He's just a good dude. He's got I have it up in the. No, I have it. I have Thor's his latest book. I wrote the introduction to his book, so intro or forward, one of those two. So I did that for him. But really good dude. You guys know who Thor is. You've probably seen him on Rule Zero. You've probably seen him. I've done shows with him. Hell, in Sticky Paws, as a matter of fact, and as well as Red One. So I think people are pretty much familiar with Thor. Yes, thanks for that, Sam. We'll put that back up there really quickly. There you go. So you can see that. And again, that's the only link I have in the description right now. So there you go. All right. So I wanted to get into a couple of things today. Again, I've been noticing a lot of these guys. I might still do this, but I want to get into some of I think a lot of the videos that I show today are pretty self-explanatory as to what the theme of today's show is. I think that when I talk about trad cons these days, and again, that's the topic du jour and probably is going to be for the rest of this year. But when I'm confronted with conversations like I had on Access Vegas about like, you know, what are best practices versus what is the red pill theory, and I don't think this gets enough attention these days, is that the red pill itself is a praxeology. It is not a set of beliefs. I just put out a new Substack, and I think I'm going to read that Substack to you guys today, because it is actually an excerpt. I kind of like rejiggered it a little bit, but it's an excerpt from my fourth book, which is Religion, The Rational Male Religion, available on Amazon. Please go have a look at that. But I had to sort of redefine and sort of revisit the believers versus empiricists concept, because I don't think enough people are really wrapping their heads around it. And this is the time. This right now, the 2024 election cycle, I don't think it's been more pertinent. I think that book was really kind of before its time. I took 3 years to write The Rational Male Religion, and you know, because I had to be complete and concise and comprehensive as well. At the same time. But I think when I put it out there, it was sort of a sleeper hit, and now it's starting to come into its own. So when people like say, well, Rolo doesn't talk about personal issue, he doesn't talk about marriages, he doesn't talk about how to have a good relationship, he doesn't talk, the red pill guy, those red pill guys never talk about marriage or parenting. It's like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's all I've done. The guy who's pretty much literally written the book on the red pill, you don't know that because you're just simply you're shills. You're shills for your own personal brand. And so it's much easier to sit there and talk about shit that you don't know. But the funny thing is when I see stuff like where is it? Is it Sadia? Where does she go? This kind of stuff here.
It's just recognizing our evolution. The reality is women were designed, one of the reasons why women can move on quickly from heartbreak and relationships and go from one man to another is in evolutionary times, if they lost their partner to war or to predators or whatever.
Okay, what she's describing here is directly lifted from my first book from 10 years ago. I don't know where she heard this. I don't know where she got this from. Sadia Khan is a con woman. She does not have a degree in psychology. She never taught psychology. She's not a clinical psychologist. And literally the only reason anyone takes her even remotely seriously, Chris Williamson, looking at you, is because she's a set of tits. Because she looks, I talked to Myron, by the way. Myron talked about this a little bit, talked about her on Access Vegas and like his sort of, his connection to her. Like she really desperately wanted to be on Fresh and Fit. And then I guess she's out of Dubai, and when Myron and Fresh visit Dubai, like she's on several occasions has like tried to, you know, set something up, and Myron just simply won't have anything to do with her because I think he called it pretty well early on. She's a hustler. She's a grifter. She doesn't have, like, I'm going to show you, do I have those here? I'm going to show you some of her credentials. I looked her up. I'm like, where did this bitch come from? And then I realized that there is a series of posts on Reddit about her and her like questioning her credentials. And I think I might see if I can get into some of those. But the one is the main one was her degree, her psychology degree from the University of London or something like that. And there was some question as to whether or not she just simply inserted her own name on top of what looks like a certificate of some sorts or some kind of diploma, or that looks kind of like a diploma. And most of her education is really sort of like University of Phoenix kind of stuff, right? Like just like online, like, oh, here you go. You're now certified by this, you know, no name, uncredentialed, you know, online / you know, University of Phoenix. I hate to use that because University of Phoenix is not really a good example, but like one of these online kind of, you know, you'll get a degree if you do this coursework here. And so I was looking at that. If nothing else, there should be an asterisk by her name. Oh, thank you very much, PP. I fully appreciate everything that you do. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure. Roll of prayers for everyone, Thor, Ned, and whoever else needs them. Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki. I had a 1.4 centimeter medulloblastoma removed from my brainstem. Just got done proton therapy, starting chemo the end of this month. Fuck, man, everybody's fucked up. What the fuck is happening? Jesus. Sorry to hear that, PP, but you know what? You get another one. Thank you. Much appreciated. That's going straight to Thor, by the way. Much appreciated. All right. So I am looking, you know what? Let me just get to these. I got so many of these to catch up with. Here we go. Thank you very much. Let's rock. You got it. Always. Hey, Rolo, I love your work. Thank you, Rhode Island Street Preaching Ministries. Street Preaching Ministries. 340 body count sounds a lot like a 304. Kind of. There's a reason why I use Michael Knowles. I got some other Michael Knowles stuff from his interview with, because I have an announcement. Actually, you know what? I'll make the announcement right now. Here, let me take this bitch off real quick. I just got the word from Farah, Walmart, Mia Khalifa, and what's her name? Jasmine Jafar. At least at the, here's the funny thing is these girls, Bob, let me just make the announcement. These girls want to come on Access Vegas. So I said, that's fine. Yeah, please come on out. So Mike and I don't know the date just yet. I probably could look it up for you and give it to you. But we have this month, either this month or it's like the 1st of March. I can't remember. But we're going to do a 2-on-2. It'll be myself and Mike versus Jasmine Jafar and Farah. So I hope I'm saying your name right. And then I'm also going to put them on the panel show with the girls for Access Vegas. So we'll have them on for 2 shows coming up very soon. It'll be this month or it'll be the beginning of March. I don't know exactly the dates that they wanted to do. Actually, you know what? Let me go get those for you because she hit me up not too long ago. And where are these? It was Farah. Sounds like fava beans. There we go. Here we go. She was asking me if I was a meninist. I'm like, what the fuck is a meninist? Okay, let's see. Okay, the 22nd. Okay, so it'll be not this coming Thursday, but the 22nd, which is next Thursday, will be. That's what we have at least tentatively set for right now.
All wings report.
My bad. That will be for the next. It will be for what's coming up next. Push this over. There we go. Okay, so we have Farah and Jasmine Jafar coming in on the 22nd. We'll be doing a 2-on-2, and then we'll have them on the on Access Vegas. So that's coming up. But I will say this: that says a lot about people like Michael Knowles, about Chase, about Lila Rose. I don't know, Matt Wall, whoever else. Name the moralist grifter du jour that you'd like to, and put them on blast. And say, you know what? Those chicks that Michael Knowles, those chicks that were on whatever podcast, they got more ass in their britches than you do. They'll come out and they'll have the discussion, then they'll talk to us. No fucking NDA to sign, none of that bullshit. Come here. If you believe what you say you believe, your happy ass will walk right through Sticky Paws and you'll say, hey, here I am. Let's go do it. And I will go, let's go. I'll book the show right now. But no, you know who does? Gary the fucking numbers guy. Sergio, I'm Autistic Solus from Purple Pill Podcast. And now, well, hell, even Richard Reeves has more ass in his britches than you guys do, okay? Because he showed up and he was right here. And we had a really good conversation with the guy. Well, now we can add Jasmine Jafar. I can't believe I'm saying that name. And Farah from whatever podcast, who are both, by the way, Destiny's Girls or Destiny's Angels, which I'm more than happy to entertain. So please come on out. But you know what? All of those individuals have more investment in their convictions than any single moralist that I've seen up to this point. None of them show. Chase, you're a pussy. Pussy. P-U-S-S-I-E-E-E-E. Pussy. Lila Rose, pussy. Michael Knowles, pussy. That's me. I'm calling you out. You are a fucking coward. Your convictions mean fuck all until you want to come and defend them live on this show. It ain't going to be some little feminist. I like Pixie, by the way. I actually think she's, of the 3 of them that were there, I think she had the most, like, and Farrah's fairly intelligent too. Honestly, I think Jasmine just kind of reads off a dialogue, or she's just like rote memorization. At least it sounds that way. But I'll tell you, Farrah's pretty smart, and so is Pixie. I'll give them that. I think they're wrong, but I think they're pretty smart when coming to their wrongness. But I think that there's this presumption that like the guys in the red pill just want to like put like shackles and chains on women and put them naked in the kitchen to make sandwiches. It's like, where the fuck are you getting all this? But it was a really good. I thought the interview between Michael Knowles and the rest and these girls was great. And hey, bravo for Brian making that work out. But we couldn't simply make it work out in Las Vegas. I got Zuby now talking about how he's going to, I really want to put this thing together where we can get all the red pill guys and all these more. I'm like, yeah, you and fucking everybody else show me. I'll be happy to show up as long as it's live. I'll go and do it. Please. But it's not going to happen because these guys are pussies, Zuby. They're pussy. And I like Zuby. I consider him a friend for a long time. But you're talking to pussies who don't believe in their convictions. You know what they believe in? They believe in they believe in a freaking dollar. That's what they believe. They believe in CTR, click-through rate, engagement, analytics. Those numbers, that's what they believe in. That's why you have to sign a fucking NDA to talk to Michael Knowles. They don't want any of that. They don't want bad press. They don't want him to look bad. Brian from whatever podcast will color Pixie's hair like bright green, but they don't touch fucking Michael Knowles. Why don't you make his hair purple? What the fuck, man? All right. I hope Travis Kelce is watching this before he proposes to Taylor Swift tonight. God, you think that's going to happen? God, please. Travis, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Turn away. Go home. Wait, Travis. Get out. I'm highly in shape. Highly. And I like to believe I present myself in a masculine frame. So I'm noticeably short. Does a woman making height jokes automatically mean she's unattractive? Can it be a shit test? Oh, short men. If there's one shit test you're probably used to already, it's the short guys. The short man's disease. He's short. Well, look for girls who are shorter than you. That's probably the best place to start. If you want me to talk about height, and I think we're probably going to, oddly enough, I think we'll get into the quote unquote height issue with Jasmine Jafar, because we've had that discussion with them before. With her, me and Mike did at one point, because I think that a lot of people think, like, if you're, by the way, ladies, Farah and Jasmine, can I just give you just a little bit of, I'll see if I can coach you a little bit here, just so you're not unprepared. Don't believe everything that Destiny's Forum and everybody else is throwing, all his Reddit groups and his DGG, whatever, DCG, DGG, whatever it is. All those people are feeding you, because I will be able to counter pretty much everything they have. But that being said, the whole thing about height, be careful of using stats produced by, William Costello and Alex from DatePsych, because most of their stats are utter horseshit, and they're essentially just like Twitter polls. And really, and if you want me to produce you like real freaking psychological studies, I'll go look at Rob Henderson. Go look at Rolf Deegan. Go look at Steve Stewart Williams. Those are the guys who are going to tell you that they're going to shoot the straight shit to you, and that's exactly who I'm going to use. So I'll just tell you up front, those will be the stats that I use from like legitimate guys who are evolutionary psychologists who are like researchers, at least in that sense. I also use evolutionary biologists, anthropologists, social anthropologists. Tim Burkhead, who wrote Promiscuity. Also, he's an evolutionary biologist. He's not an evolutionary psychologist. He's an evolutionary biologist and wrote the book Promiscuity. Dr. Tim Burkhead. Look him up too. So know that's where I'm probably going to pull a lot of my stuff, depending on what the topics are. Because I run debates like fucking real debates. Like, here's what we're going to talk about. None of this. Ha, got you. You didn't prepare for divorce in Estonia from 1841 through 1951. And the schism of the Catholic Church between the Eastern Bloc Orthodoxy versus some obscure bullshit. Like we're gonna talk about some real shit. You want to talk about divorce? You want to talk about marriage? I'm gonna quote Jim Sexton, where I'm gonna go. So if I don't have him there, if I can't get Jim Sexton, I'm certainly gonna channel for him. Okay, I got to you. I got to that. Yes. Yeah, as far as height is concerned, yeah, you're always going to deal with that. Now, here's the thing: is that a death sentence? No, it's not. And I can prove. I mean, I know this is anecdotal, but I know that there are guys. I talk to them all the time. There are dudes in MOA who are 5'5" that do very well with women. Now, are they doing it with these tall, like 6 foot plus Amazonian blondes with titties out to here? No, but they still do very well, contextually speaking. So is it a death sentence? No. And don't let anybody tell you that it is. Are you at a disadvantage? Absolutely you are. But that's a challenge to overcome. It's not a death sentence. Could he tell what an NFT is? Thanks. Thank you. Hey Rolo, sorry I missed the live AV. Yeah, it was good though, man. Just go watch the replay. It's not even that long, man. It was pretty good. Thank you. What do we got here? Rolo, I'm in Denver. Yesterday, a 7-year-old with her father covered face walked up to my Jeep when I parked, asking if I had work. The cops say nothing. I'm disgusted. Oh, geez. Sorry to hear that. Why does Myron hate Brickson? Brian? Because he spells his name Brickson. That's why. That's why I hate him, because he spells his name Brickson. He doesn't hate him. I don't think anybody hates anybody. Like, as much shit as I give, like Sneeko, I'll still go shake his hand at, like, Babes in Toyland. I will say this: if people say, say something nice about the people that you really don't like, okay, fine. At least Sneeko will step his happy ass into a ring and go box with a real boxer and get his ass kicked, and not worry about like having it go public. At least he's putting himself in there. Respect. More respect than I do for somebody like DJ Sympedemics. That should be the Sympedemic right there. Much more respect for Sneeko than I have for other guys like that. But I will tell you this: that even though we've had our differences, right? I will still go shake his hand. I don't hate him. I don't think Myron hates Brian. It's just that he's direct competition. Why? I don't think it's hate. Like to even characterize it as hate is kind of like a misnomer. He just doesn't want to do a show, and I don't blame him. Why is it that Brian doesn't come out to Vegas? Brian doesn't do anyone's show either. At least Myron will come and do Access Vegas. In fact, I wanted to point that out. I wanted to give these guys big, props for this. Myron and Fresh, we are, as far as I know, I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail here, but like we had a really good thumbnail with, thank you. I kind of rejiggered an old thumbnail that they had, but it was us in Vegas and sort of looking like, Grand Theft Auto, Miami Vice look to it. Because I finished doing that thumbnail for Access Vegas. And like, this is really good. I almost wanted to like frame it. I wanted to print it out and frame it. But then it sort of hit me that that Myron and Fresh, we're the only show that they do like any kind of regular collab with. This is the third time, Myron and Fresh have been on the show. We did, was it October? We did October last year. We did a show with them, with the girls, and then we did another show. So we've done like 2 like Access Vegas with the girls. We did one with just the boys, which was just the last one, and then we've also done one with well, I wasn't there unfortunately, but it was I kind of consider this. There was Myron Fresh, Cappy was there, Justin Waller was there, even Marquette from Saint and Sinner was there as well. It was a really good show. So technically they've been on at least 4 shows with us, and we're the only ones that they will collab with on a regular basis. Who else are they collabing with? No one. So that should tell you something about the legitimacy of our show and what Mike and I are planning, what we do. In our niche, anyways, we're the #1 podcast in Las Vegas. No one else does what we do right now. And we're not, we're talking about a viewership, well, like a subscribership of like almost about 6,000 right now. But we get good views. We between my channel, when we do a show, it's my channel, it's Mike's channel. We have Rumble channel too. It's the Access Vegas channel. And then if it's Myron and Fresh, then it's their channel too. So we're like simulcasting from Sticky Paws across at least 5 or 6 channels. So, if you look at the total viewership between all of those, it's pretty substantial. Definitely within our niche. I don't know exactly where we're at as far as other podcasts are concerned. I mean, I know Bradley's got his own thing, and there's a few other ones. We're not. Is Ty Lopez out of there? I still don't think that we could probably match those guys because they're just really big names, but we'll catch up to that. We're certainly the number one podcast within sort of the Red Pill Manosphere space in Las Vegas. And I'm happy to say we're the only ones that Myron and Fresh will collaborate with. But for as much as I've tried to get, I have had this conversation with Brian. I said, why don't you come out? We've had John from It's Complicated has been on, but Brian doesn't leave Santa Barbara. And it's like there's certain people who just don't are they homebodies or something? I don't get it. But I would love to have Rich Cooper come out to Vegas. I don't know that he's ever going to leave Ontario, Toronto. Ryan Stone, at least Ryan, there's some hope. I'm hoping I can get Ryan Stone to come out to Vegas. I promise some hookers and blow, maybe the show. Ryan, if I give you hookers and blow, will you show up? I have no idea what this is. Thank you for whatever amount of Chinese yuan that was. TSA guy here. New plate is a vet surgeon. Sucks for Ned. Yeah. But looking forward to her geeking out on the Ned photos. Sooner or later, PP already got to you. You know what? You get one more. PP. There you go. Here's for the Ned Fund. Thank you. Okay, that goes to the Ned Fund. Very nice of you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Hey, Rolo, is there a difference between control and frame? Yes. Hold that thought. I'm coming back to you. Let me finish the rest of these. Banana hammock. Banana hammock. I need a banana hammock soon. Thank you. Season is coming. Swallow all the best to Master Ned. Where is the beach? God damn. Are you the dude that does that to me? Let's see. Yeah, we'll come back to you. Because I got guys. I don't know if it's you wondering where, but it's either you or it's like a rational trucker who always tell me like, where's the beach? And I always feel like I have to go, it's over there. And you will do this to me when I'm on Fresh and Fit or I'm on whatever podcast, and I feel like I owe it to you for the amount of the super chat that you gave me. But so, and you're not the only one. There's like several other people that will do that. You only get one of those, and I'm thinking about charging for the most muscular. Like in bodybuilding, there's like different poses. Like you're doing the horseshoe with the tris and everything. The other one that whenever it's like most muscular is like something like this, I think. But then there's like the where's the beach pose. God damn it. This is what I've been reduced to. Thank you for that as well. Say my name. Papi Rolo. Thank you for your content. What age range would you recommend me to consider a woman for an LTR? Okay, I have dated a bunch of 39-year-olds, and it seems that most of them are damaged goods, or they have a lot of stuff in tow. I'm 39 years old and make six figures, in shape with my shit together. And I will tell you exactly what I tell everybody else who is in your age demographic. Guys who get to be about 35 to about 39, somewhere in there, that's when they start thinking about, I want to settle down. I want to have kids. And rightly so. That's fine. I have nothing against, you wanting to get monogamous as long as it's at the point where you realize you're educated enough to know what you're getting yourself into. So my suggestion has always been this: if you are if you're asking me what age demographic you should be looking for, I'm going to tell you between 25 and 27 years old. That's what you should be looking for. That's the sweet spot. Okay. Now, why do I say that? Well, for the most part, let's just say the age range is between 18 and what'd you say, 30s, somewhere around 18 and 30. I usually go about 18 and 28, but let's give you an extra 2 years. Okay. 18 and 30. From 18 till about 23, 24, you're not going to find a woman who wants to have any kind of like long-term relationship. You're not going to, like, most of them are still like figuring out how powerful they can be and what kind of agency they have, what their sexual market value will afford them during their hoe phase, which we just showed you the video here not too long ago. That's when women are at their peak of like sort of social agency, sexual agency, the peak of their power. One of the things that I think, and this is me spitball. Okay, I'm going to give you a diagnosis here. This is me, not the red pill. This is Rolo Tomasi talking. I think that one of the things that incels, quote unquote, stereotypical archetypal incels, are, I think one of the things that they feel is powerless during the times of, say, like if they're 22 and they're looking at women who are 22, 23 years old, because they're looking at women at the apogee of their power. It's the apex of their sexual market value and their sexual market agency. And it seems like the world is their oyster, and they're not wrong. Depending on, how hot the girl is and how available she is and how she markets herself. And that's really all dating is today, which is brand management. So it depends on how well she brand manages herself. But they seem very, very powerful. And I understand that. And they're not wrong in that assessment. So, but right between the ages of, like, say, 18, 22, 23, I would not target that as if you're going to target a particular age demographic. I would leave that out. I would wait till women get to be about 25 or 26, 27, maybe like 25, 26, 27, right in there. That's the sweet spot, because you're looking at a woman who, accept this now. You're not going to find a virgin bride, particularly not in a Western country. So the best you can do is sort of like understand human nature, understand your nature, understand who you are, understand how women are, and go with the best option that's available to you. So where I think that would be is between 25, 26, 27 years old, because you don't have a woman who necessarily has a kid yet. She might not have the same kind of psychological baggage or damage. She might not have emotional damage. She might not have emotional damage at that point. Maybe she's got daddy issues. She's probably on Instagram. She's probably on OnlyFans, but just accept it or don't accept it. That's what I can tell you. I think it's easier to just simply work within the framework that you've got and excel in, learn to thrive in the chaos, basically. If you can't do that, then you will get the fuck out. Get out of the game. Just get out of the game. I want a virgin bride. Okay, you know what? Leave the country. Seriously, go to a Middle Eastern country. Go somewhere where you think you're going to go to the Amish Dutch country in Pennsylvania and find your Amish girl who's on the back of some horse-drawn wagon, because you're probably not going to find it. Even in like Southeast Asia, you're not going to find it. Okay, by and large. So you can either accept that or not. I can't believe Rolo's telling us to accept whores. No, I'm not telling you accept whores. I'm just saying that if that's where your head's at, then you need to adjust your game accordingly. So I think the best demographic really is 25 through 27. So you don't got a girl who's necessarily run through and has kids, and you're worried about being you're the dad who stepped up. That's probably the good demographic for you. That's usually what I tell guys anyways. So please challenge the Jafar 304. I'm sorry. I am sorry, sir. She has a name, and we have to go by that name. Her name is Jasmine. Jazmen. Sounds like Jizzman. But anyways, so Jasmine Jafar. So Ms. Jafar will be joining us. So how dare you? How dare you call her a 304? There is no 304 in her name. On her stance that research says hypergamy is on the decrease because of modern conveniences and women are making. Oh, trust me, my friend. That is already in the great big book of everything. Yes. On the decrease. See, we tried, myself and Mike tried to make that case. And you know what? That never made the clips. Whoever's doing their whatever employee that Destiny has doing the clips for these girls, that didn't seem to make it into the clips. I don't know why. But we talked about that the last time we were on Fresh and Fit, November, when we were out there in Miami. We made that point. I tried to tell her, look, hypergamy is not a social condition. It's not like, we all became hypergamous in 2006 somehow. We've been hypergamous since we were running around in hunter-gatherer tribes on the sub-Saharan African savanna back in the Pleistocene era. Not the Plasticine era. Hypergamy is what it is. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. That's how it is. All right. And if you want to challenge that, then we can have that discussion. But what it is not is it's not a social construct. That I will be able to defend till the grave. But you are correct. Let's see what you got here. Rolo, if a woman emotionally, you said the word. Emotional damage. Emotionally cheats. can you give me an example of emotional cheating? But gets caught before she can physically cheat. Would you say this can be called an alpha widow? Oh yeah, for sure. But the fantasy unfulfilled kind, yes. Thanks for the good work. Okay, so I love how we now have like the litmus test for infidelity is don't even think it. You're a guy. Do you guys ever watch? Closet nerd time. I love Judge Dredd. Okay, I love the movie, not the Stallone one, but the one with Carl Urban. Excellent. Like Netflix. What the fuck? I know you guys bought the rights to this. Why are you not like doing it? You know why? Because it's an alpha male, and there's no way around the fact that he is the law. I even have a sound drop for him. I've been a fan of the 2000 AD comic for a very long time. Yes, I like. You asked me sometime about my nerdy comic book tendencies. Judge Dredd is one of those, and I am unapologetically a fan of Judge Dredd. But there is Judge Anderson, who is the female in all of this, but she's also psychic. And I love how there used to be I think it was a T-shirt or something that had Judge Anderson on it, and it said across it was like, "Don't even think it." That's what I'm talking about. Emotional infidelity is don't even think it. Because it's like if you think about it, it's even like you can even like make this a biblical thing, right? If so a man thinks in his heart he is done, to the world or something like that. It's like it's not even it's having the thought of, I don't know, coveting your neighbor's wife, ripping him off, killing him, whatever it is, even the thought of it is a sin, right? You're fucked. You're basically fucked, right? No matter what, don't even think it. And so if we make that the test rather than the behavior, it's kind of like, what is it? Minority Report, right? Where you're thinking about committing this crime, therefore you're guilty of this crime. So emotional damage, right? Emotional investments. What is it? An emotional affair. And it's funny you should say that, because I usually see this tossed around by religious women. Oh, he was having an emotional affair. With who? Did he fuck anyone? No, he didn't fuck anyone. Well, what was he doing? Oh, he was planning to, or he thought about it. He was really falling in love with this girl because he kept sending her, hey, trying to brighten up your day, sending her memes, whatever. Like Matt Rife's comedy skit right there. Right? Hey, how was your day? Sending you this little cute cat meme, that kind of shit. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's emotional investment. But I tell you what's funny is like we don't hold women to the same standards, because for as much as like a guy like Dr. David Buss wants to talk about how the mate switching hypothesis. Mate switching hypothesis is horseshit. I'm going to say I'll tell you right now, it is bullshit. And you know why it's bullshit? For exactly the same reason that emotional infidelity is a thing. Don't even think it. So it's not that she wants to fuck the pool boy. It's that she's thinking about it, and it's that she sees herself in a better life and in a better position and a higher status with some other guy, which is bullshit. But it's the thinking of it. It's the imagining. It's the fantasy of it. And so, yes, you are correct. When I talk about alpha widows, it's not just about an actual guy. It could be she's fantasizing about Jason Momoa, Jack Reacher, or Justin Waller, right? She's never going to fuck those guys. But the fact that her desire is to fuck those guys, it's based on the desire, not the actual physical having of sex right there, right? So when, let's go back. Let's rewind this tape a little bit here just so I can tell you what this is the war brides dynamic, but people have questioned me about this. Does the war brides dynamic conflict with the alpha widow dynamic? And I'll explain this to you, but after I tear up another Jasmine Jafar.
Just recognizing our evolution. The reality is women were designed. One of the reasons why women can move on quickly.
Come to think of it, it's like, what the fuck is Dubai? Get your bitches back in pocket, man. What happened to not in my country, Rolo? These women have love for Allah. I was like, Jasmine Jafar, Farah, and Sadia Khan. The defense rests, Your Honor.
Heartbreak and relationships and go from one man to another is in evolutionary times. If they lost their partner to war or to predators or whatever it is,
Evolutionary times. Guess what, Sadia? We're still in evolutionary times. Let's keep going.
Have to find another one. Even if they shared him with another bunch of women, they would have to do that. Otherwise they die.
Okay. What she's trying to like mumble out of her mouth here is the war brides dynamic. If you've read my book, my first book, there's a chapter in there, a very healthy chapter in there called War Brides. And war brides was a concept that was discussed in what became the Manosphere, really on So Suave. And it was a understanding of pretty much, she kind of like gets part of it right here. It's that in evolutionary times, but not evolution times. It's like in tribal times, might be a better way of saying it. You can go back to the Old Testament and see examples of this, but you don't even have to do that. You can go far, far back, where if you look at tribal warfare, the reasons why one tribe goes in and raids another village along the coast of Norway, down the coast, the Vikings come in and destroy your village. They kill all the men folk, and they kill the boys, and they take all the women because they're spoils of war. Women have always been spoils of war. And it doesn't necessarily have to be my people, my brutal barbarian brothers. It could be, like I said, Old Testament. You'll find examples of this where the Lord says, go in and kill all these people in this tribe and whatever the Philistines were. I can't remember which one it is. And this is, by the way, I'm getting this from Alpha God by Hector Garcia. And we'll go in and it's in the Old Testament, like go in, kill all the men folk, kill the boys, and kill all the women, by the way, who have known a man, and take the virgins for yourself. Why would that be a thing? Well, because that they're incubators of the next generation. And why would they have to be virgins? Why would they have to be a fertile young woman who can bear children? Well, because if they have never known a man, then you know that the baby coming out of them is probably going to be you or one of your boys from your tribe. Right? That's the social dynamics behind really what is a reproductive strategy for men. Unfortunately, that includes EPAR, grape. That grape is a sexual strategy. It's a mating strategy, ugly as it is. Ladies, I don't care what you have to say about, it's a violation. Yeah, it is. But the nuts and bolts of the practicality of it is it's a mating strategy. It's an ugly one. It's an atrocity. It's a crime. Yes, I 100% agree. But the function is basically reproduction, or at least the ultimate outcome, the ultimate ultimate goal is reproduction. So save all the virgins for yourself and kill off all the men and all of the non-virgin women and integrate them into your tribe. And she's sort of loosely mumbling this, but this is straight out of everything she said is straight out of the Rational Male. Now, has that been proposed in other places? I'm sure it has, but she's more or less kind of, mumbling this shit. And it's directly out of my book from like 10 plus years, almost 11, 10 and a half years ago. And by the way, not even that. I can show you blog posts of the same thing from 2011, and I can show you posts from So Suave about the same thing from probably about 2006. So it's been around for a long time. The idea of war brides. Now, how does that go against the concept of the alpha widow? Because a lot of people will say, well, Rolo, why is it that I had to answer this question so many times that it's what prompted the idea of the war brides dynamic? Rolo, how come my girl can get over me so fast? And that's what she's trying to, articulate here. Why is it that women get over a breakup faster than guys? Well, because psychologically, a woman's psyche has been conditioned over the course of millennia to say, you know what? Well, I need to find the women are looking for the better and bigger and better deal. They're looking for the best they can do. If they broke up with you, clearly you're not the best they can do. So they're looking for the best they can do. And they say, well, gosh, I can't believe it's so heartless. She's such a bitch. It seems unethical and immoral. And well, you can put it in those terms, but from practical terms, the reason why she gets over you quicker than you get over her is because, well, you've got more invested in that because you need to make sure that the babies are yours. Paternity as an investment is one thing. The other thing is that again, it goes back to what you were saying before. In tribal warfare, women were spoils of war because they were incubators of the next generation. If a woman couldn't get over losing her previous husband and her sons, and maybe even some of her daughters, if she was unable to do that, she would just be killed. So the women who could get over that, who developed psychological mechanisms and sort of like ego protection mechanisms in their hardware or their firmware, the ones who couldn't do that died, and the ones who could lived. That's how the war brides dynamic works. And I know people go, "Oh, that's horrible. It seems so dehumanizing, Rolo. I can't believe you think of women like that." I don't make the fucking rules, man. I just work here, man. I just work here. So by me telling you that I'm a son of a bitch, okay, I'll be a son of a bitch, I guess. But now what a lot of people want to confront me with is this: is like, well, if that's the case, then how come women who are alpha widows, how come they can't get over those guys? Like they just simply keep coming back to that same watering trough. They keep coming back to the one that got away. Doesn't that conflict with the war brides dynamic? And the answer is no, because the alpha widow dynamic is the alpha widow dynamic is much broader in spectrum than the war brides dynamic. What do I mean by that? Well, an alpha widow doesn't necessarily have to have an actual man who is the alpha that she's widowed from. Usually that's the case, but it doesn't have to be. It can be the woman who's been unsatisfied in her sexual relationships for a very long time, never met the guy who was good enough. And we're seeing more and more and more of those women today, especially because of the paradox of choice. The globalization of the sexual marketplace has led to women who fantasize about an alpha that doesn't even exist. But that guy, the fantasy, the idealization of that alpha is just as real to her perceptually than the guy who might have rocked her world when, the hot guy in the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break. She was drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another. That guy might actually exist, but there also might be Jack Reacher. There also might be Jason Momoa or Aquaman. You got to think of the characters, right? There's a character in her head. Maybe it's you want to know why romance novels are so popular amongst women is because the alpha widow dynamic applies to that fiction and that fantasy. So it's not just about a real, actual, living, breathing human being individual. It can be about an idealization and a fantasy. So it's not always just about that. Now, it can be, obviously. So it's some guy that she met back, the one that got away in college who was so cute. And I wonder what would have happened if I could have got with Brock, the quarterback, Brock, the bartender. I wonder what would have happened if Brad would have actually committed to me and we would have had babies. I wonder where I'd be right now. My life that could have been. That's the alpha widow dynamic. And it's like you're fighting with the ghost of cocks in the past, like ghost of boyfriends past, dicks. It's usually the guy that like rocked her world in bed mostly, but the alpha widow can't get over the guy that she just simply can't get over with. Now, does that mean she's going to go die for that? Probably not. But it does mean that maybe on a psychological level, she might name your firstborn son after David or Chad or Brad. If you want to know why your wife insists on naming your son Brock, that's why. That's why. I see this. The thing is, like, this probably happens more commonly than we think, and I'm again spitballing here. I don't know. I don't have stats for this, and I doubt women would ever like cop to this. But I think we're far more aware of women who name their sons after the one that got away, the alpha boyfriend that they can't get over. I think it probably happens a lot more than we realize, and we're only a little bit more aware of it now because we live in the social media age where we can see videos of it, or we can hear stories of it on a forum or a blog, or somebody says something in a video, and you just have to be sensitive and watch for it. But why is it that women don't want to take your last name? Same reason. Because she, on some level of consciousness, she thinks that you're not the best that she could do or could have done. Why did she name your son Brock? Because she thinks that he was the best that she could have done, and she wants that constant reminder, and wants the son to be at least some sort of embodiment or a reminder of the one that got away. So it doesn't have to be an actual person, or it could be, but that person, whether living or breathing or an ideal, is still the idealization. So that's really, when you're talking about an alpha widow, it's not about so much about an actual person as it is about the idealization of the guy that was the best that she could do. And if she can't find some permanency in that, she's going to find something that's going to remind her of that by naming him Brock, by hyphenating your last fucking name. That's pretty much the psychological mechanism that's at play here.
So we have these instincts in us that we can't always explain. Now, a woman's instinct is always to be somewhat looked after. It doesn't even have to be financial, but just...
Okay, so she's talking about security versus fucking. Okay. And again, butchers this. She is so ham-fisted in her descriptions of any of this stuff that it boggles the mind. I'm wondering, and people have said this, I've read this on some Reddit forums, that she has handlers that like sort of feed this stuff to her. And it seems to me like every time I see her talking about stuff like this, that she's trying to like remember and then like this rote memorization as opposed to her actually understanding this shit, because she's a product. So now she's talking about, women want security and da-da-da. Let's put a violin. Let's put a violin soundtrack in the back and make it seem like she's really concerned with the state of men and women today. She's not. She's a fucking product. If you follow this bitch, you're actually the product, right? If you get something for free, right? If you sign up for something for free, you're the commodity. So if you're following this and she's what Mike has said is the guru or the dating coach that you're allowed to follow by your girlfriend. She's approved by Girlfriend TM. Girlfriends are us. Registered trademark 2024. Yeah. So again, she goes into the basically says the beta buck side. Well, women want somebody who's going to be there and concerned about them and security side. And it's basically provisioning, protection, and parental investment. And if she could have remembered that at the time, I'm sure those words would have fucking tumbled out of her mouth, just like anything else. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Hold it. Hold the door. Love those clips today. Oh, I got more. Jasmine Jafar sounds like she's from Aladdin. I think that was the point, bro. She's like the sexy big booby Jasmine that you wish you could have fucked when you were watching I don't know, Aladdin. She's the porn parody of Aladdin. I think that's what she'd like you to think. And again, not to take anything away from Pixie, but what the fuck, man? Jasmine Jafar, Sadia Khan, Farah, who is basically looks identical with smaller tits to Mia Khalifa. She knows this. Trust me, all these girls that I've talked to you right now, I'm showing you right now, though the looks that they have, the way they broadcast themselves, the way they put themselves out there, that is all by design. It's highly, very down to the most meticulous level, very calculated. So, and yes, you know what? Thank you for that. I much appreciate your investment in this show and everything else. Do you ever watch or go to UFC boxing events? I should. I probably will do much more. I watch them on pay-per-view now and then. I have watched John Fitch. Now I'm going to watch Jake Shields. Conor McGregor does enough out here that do you remember that? Do you remember the fight where Conor McGregor was coming out and he broke his shin just dancing around? Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, enough. I'll tell you what's, you want to know what's interesting is the UFC headquarters is literally behind. It's the building, the unit behind Sticky Paws. So yeah, I'll probably be doing that. I'll probably be out there a whole lot more. Let's see. Ali, if you even dream about it, wake up and apologize. Ali. I don't know who Ali is. Okay, this is really good. Now, hey, Rolo, what's the difference between, is there a difference between control and frame? I'm about to show you because Orion Taraban made a good case for that.
Want to know who has more power in a relationship, you simply need to consider who is less committed.
Okay. Thanks for paraphrasing the cardinal rule of relationships. This is directly out of the Rational Male. Almost wholesale lifted out of the Rational Male. There's a whole, in fact, it was with Truth to Power. I think the name of the chapter was Truth to Power. I talk about power quite a bit, power dynamics in relationships in the first book. And the cardinal rule of relationships from the Rational Male, copyright 2013, is that the person in any relationship, the person with the most power is the one who cares the least, is the one who is least invested in it. Because what it means is that the person who is more invested is always looking for the other one as the frame controller and the one who has the authority or the power in the relationship. Now, there is a qualifiable difference between authority and power. And this is where I disagree with Ori, and I'm going to let him finish up here because I got another video of him.
The other. I wish this weren't the case, but it's true. An easy way to tell who is less committed than the other in any relationship is to observe.
So you hear that? In any relationship, that is directly from the cardinal rule of relationships in my first book. In any relationship, the one with the most power is the one who cares the least. Now, he's also going to throw this other one out. This is also from the same chapter. In fact, I should probably go get this. Same chapter on ultimatums. I even have a section in that part of that book that is called Ultimatums. You know what? I'm going to actually, I could just go pick this up from my website here. Let me throw this out here. Cardinal rule. Perfect. Let's go grab this. Let's see. Oh, I have cardinal rule of sexual strategies, which will probably be the next thing that everybody lifts. Let's see. You know what? Actually, all I have to do is go to year one. That's all the year one. Cardinal rule of relationships. Here it is. It's actually really early in the thing. Here we go. Don't believe me? Here, let's show you this. This is where the chapter comes from. This is the blog post where the chapter comes from. Okay, so let me share the screen with you. There we go. Cardinal rule of relationships from the rational male. And let's just throw this whole big bad boy up here. Cardinal rule of relationships. My goodness, where on earth could he be coming up with all of this stuff? I don't know. In any relationship, right here, the person with the most power is the one who needs the other the least. This is a foundation of any relationship. Not just intersexual ones, but family, business, etc. Relationships as well. It is a dynamic that is always in effect. For my own well-being and for that of my family's, I need my employer more than he needs me. Ergo, I get up for work in the morning and work for him. And while I am also a vital part of the uninterrupted continuance of his company and endeavors, he simply needs me less than I need him. Now, I could win the lottery tomorrow, and he may decide to cut my pay or limit my benefits, or I may complete my master's degree and decide that that I can do better than to keep myself yoked to his cart indefinitely. Thereby, through some condition, either initiated by myself or not, I am put into a position of needing him less than he needs me. How's that for a run-on sentence? This was a different time. At this point, he is forced into a position of deciding how much I am worth to his ambitions and either part ways with me or negotiate a furtherance of our relationship. Okay. The same plays true for intersexual relationships. Whether you want to base your relationship on power or not isn't the issue. It's already in play from the first point of attraction. You are acceptable to her for meeting any number of criteria, and she meets your own as well. If this weren't the case, you simply would not initiate a mutual relationship. This is the first comparison we make with another individual. It's called sizing up, if you like, but we make innate and often unconscious comparisons about everything everything. And in this case, the initial attraction, we decide if the other person is acceptable for our own intimacy. From this point, it becomes a cooperative negotiation. This principle isn't so much about the power as it is about the control. Here's your control and here's your power, by the way. This might sound like semantics, but it does make a difference. It's very easy to slip into binary arguments and think what I mean by the cardinal rule of relationships is that one participant must absolutely rule over the other, a dominant personality to a doormat submissive personality. Control in a healthy relationship passes back and forth as desire and need dictate for each partner. In an unhealthy relationship, you have an unbalanced manipulation of this control by a partner. So you guys can read the rest of this if you would like, but I'm going to stop sharing it right now. Sounds quite a bit like what our good friend
issues ultimatums to whom? A few weeks ago, I met up with Logan Ury, author of How Not to Die Alone. She's a lovely person. At one point in the discussion, we were talking about marriage, and she said to me, behind every proposal is an ultimatum. And we both laughed because I think we could both acknowledge the truth in that statement. Now, the point of an ultimatum is to apply emotional pressure on the other person to motivate behavior in compliance with your agenda. So it's powerful in the sense of my working definition of power, getting other.
Okay, we're going to hold off right there because now we have to go to ultimatums. Okay, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. Here we go. Let's share the screen one more time. Oh my goodness, where could this have come from? I don't know. How odd. Ultimatums. Look, here we are. Let's open this up a little bit. There we go. Ultimatum. What does Rolo have to say about ultimatum? All right, this was in response to a question. Rolo mentioned that once a woman gets into a cohabiting situation, that her sexual availability markedly decreases, yada, yada. Okay, interesting. You use the word ultimatum here. It's important that you understand what an ultimatum implies. Whenever a person delivers an ultimatum, always understand that it is a declaration of powerlessness. Now he's going to jump into power. Where on earth do you think Dr. Taraban is grabbing all of this stuff? I don't know. In other words, I am so out of control. I'm so out of control in this circumstance. You must do this, or I will remove either myself or you from the circumstance. First off, in this particular instance, it's far more likely that you'll be the one leaving, considering the preference modern legalities have or give women today with regard to evicting them from such a situation. Okay, I was referring to the question a little bit more here. Let's see. Ultimatums. Ultimatums are declarations of powerlessness because you are resorting to a direct threat to get someone to do what you want them to do. And in doing so, you overtly confess your weak position. If you were in a genuine position of control, it wouldn't be necessary to resort to an ultimatum. You'd simply use that control. There are many ways to effect a change in another person, but ultimatums will never prompt a genuine change. If they change behavior, it's prompted by the threat, not unprompted organic desire. One of the primary tenets of my game philosophy is that true desire cannot be negotiated. You guys have heard me say this before in the desire dynamic, which I'm sure someone's going to rip off at some point along the way. A natural unsolicited desire state unmitigated by obligation or concern for resources exchange is the ideal basis for any gender relationship. Any factors that introduce elements that hinder this genuine desire, exchange, negotiations, obligations, reciprocity, etc., weaken this desire and weaken the relationship. Delivering an ultimatum is the most direct, overt way to introduce exactly these elements into a relationship. Wow. Where on earth do you think Dr. Taraban has picked up all of this stuff from? Oh, wait a minute. Thank
you very much. Can I be in charge for a while?
I know who you are, John Dredd. All I got to do is look at that icon, and I know exactly. I know who you are. In memoriam of my niece, Ava, and my mom, Trish, who both lost their battles with cancer last year, let Thor know that nobody fights alone. Excellent. We don't leave our people behind. Thank you very much for your contribution, sir. I will be sure that it gets passed on. Rolo, on emotional intelligence, try reading D. Goleman's and Byron K. Mark this down for me, will you, Sammy? Brian Katie books. They're actually worthwhile, dude. Instead of saying you're a bad person when you said X, it made me feel Y. My understanding of emotional intelligence is that emotional intelligence was something that was created simply by female specific pop psychology. There needed to be some sort of counterbalance to like actual cognitive, rational, like IQ type intelligence. Well, you might be smart, but you're not emotionally smart. It's like, stop making shit up. Okay. Emotional intelligence is bullshit. There is, and I have studied quite comprehensively on this. I'm not saying you're full of shit or anything like that. I'm just saying that the concept of emotional intelligence is certainly put an asterisk by it because the jury's still out. Emotional intelligence is not intelligence. That's just it. It doesn't even meet the criteria for intelligence because emotions are a physical effect on human beings. If you want to say you have your social skills are inept, or you have autism, or you don't understand like when somebody is emoting and you can't really, you can't be empathetic, or you can't be sympathetic, or whatever. Maybe you're psychopathic, maybe you're sociopathic, whatever. That I can wrap my head around. But if you're going to say, oh, emotional intelligence, no, I can change your emotion by giving you 3 shots of tequila. I can change your emotions by shooting you up with a few cc's of Tren, right? You can definitely go and you'll definitely feel something. You'll have a mood change for sure. I'll tell you, man, and it's not even just chemicals, man. It's circumstances as well. I go from feeling really good about life, and then suddenly I realize Ned's got a fracture again, and now suddenly I'm in the pit of hell. You can go from one emotional state to the next. It's not that you have low emotional intelligence. It's that things are pretty fucked up. And then you're reacting to how those things are fucked up. So when we talk about emotions are a physical effect on the human body. So when people say, don't you believe in love, Rolo? Yeah, of course I believe in love. Do I believe in it as some sort of like metaphysical, angel dust and pixie dust falling down from the sky? No. Don't you believe in? I believe in love just as much as I believe in hate, anger, fear, depression. Name the more base emotions. Joy, happiness. I believe in love just as much as I believe in any of those other emotions. Okay. Now, if you want to take them into the more esoteric realms, then we can have a different conversation. But if you're going to talk to me about emotional intelligence, I'm just going to bring up the fact that you can influence somebody's just by like poking the right part of their brain in brain surgery, and suddenly they go from being sad and crying to being like elated and joyful and euphoric. So emotion to me is not it's not an intelligence. Like intelligence is something for instance, intelligence technically is a physical aspect too, because if I go and give you a frontal lobotomy and you suddenly lose I don't know how many points of IQ, or you have brain damage, or you have memory loss, have you not affected the individual personality and your capacity for emotional intelligence or cognitive intelligence for that matter by altering the physical state of that brain? Yes, you have. So did I not do a good job? Would you like me to continue? Yes. Emotional intelligence is honestly, I think what people mistake emotional intelligence, they needed a term for this, like that there are some people who just don't have the hardware, or they never had the learning, they never through a course of learning or conditioning, they never had the ability to sort of read other people's emotions. And so they're like an autistic child, an autistic guy, woman, whatever, has difficulty reading facial expressions, has difficulty interpreting what that person is feeling. And so therefore they're kind of lost in the woods with interrelating with somebody who is, either pissed off or angry. If I say these things, this guy will get pissed off. They don't know that because they don't have either the cognitive capacity to do that, or they've never learned that well enough so that they, like, depending on the degree of how far you are on whatever the autism spectrum is, you may or may not be able to read someone's emotional state by their physical expressions, right? That doesn't make them low on emotional intelligence. It means that they're fucked up. There's a mechanical problem there. So that's sort of my take on emotional intelligence. Let's see. Oh man, I just got the pictures for. Thank you, Mike Sartain just sent me the pictures for Babes in Toyland that probably Corey took. I can't wait to put those up after this show. You guys are going to love those. Man, let me tell you something about this. You guys know what the Green Line Mafia is? This is one of my turns. Like the guys who, like, if you put up a poster or put a picture of yourself with a girl, and what they'll do is they'll put the green line and the red line, or like, oh, see, you're leaning it. There's like this like bonehead science to all this. It is the most entertaining thing in the world for me. So like when I'm at these events, like if I'm there with like Maya understands. So like she'll play along, right? But like when I'm at events and I take pictures with like some of the girls at at Access Vegas or Babes in Toyland or whatever, if it's me and like Jessica Vaughn, or me and Kindly Myers, or me and Corey Yee, or me and Maya, right? I'll take those pictures, and then what I'll do is I'll look at these and I go, okay, I play this game in my head. I go, okay, what is the Green Line Mafia going to say if I post this on Twitter, right? So I posted these pictures on Twitter, and of course, what they're doing is they're like, they were draw a green line in you, or the red line or whatever. Oh, you're leaning in. Never lean in. That's where the shit comes from, is the Green Line Mafia. Right? And so you put it up there. So I'm like looking, I'm trying to get the perfect, like there's no way they could say anything bad about this. Right. I'm standing up straight. I'm not leaning in. My dick is facing where my dick's supposed to be facing. My feet are facing where they're supposed to be. I'm not like pointing to my cock, or I'm not like, it's not hover. There's no hover hand, right? That will dock you 10 points, and, or penis shame. There's some sort of like physical, like your body is turned some way, and so therefore you're ashamed of your dick or something. It's the most ridiculous shit in the world. So I posted these pictures of myself and Maya from Babes in Toyland, and I'm like, I think I almost got the perfect one. And then what happens is somebody, you can't win, and that's what makes it so entertaining, is you cannot win with these guys. There's no such thing as a perfect thing. They will never give you a perfect score. So like they're like, I've got this perfect thing. She's leaning into me. She's got her her face tucked into me and everything, and I'm standing up straight. I'm not leaning in, and all this other stuff. And they draw this green line on my dick, and then it goes down. Come on, man. Throw me a bone. Please. What did I do wrong? Getting back to the point here, though. So the difference between control and frame. Okay. So frame is the world into which frame is something you build through money, muscles, and game. I don't care what the popular concept is. Some people want to say frame is some sort of like something apart from that. Your frame is built by money, muscles, and game. Frame is, there's a lot of aspects to frame. I've probably written more about frame than any other thing that I've ever written about, even more than, hypergamy and stuff, oddly enough, because everybody wants to know if they have frame. Was I in my frame? Was it out of my frame? I lost frame, Rolo. Oh, how do I get my girlfriend back? I lost frame. Like and people agonize over that. So that's why they're obsessed with understanding what frame is. Frame is just the world in which like you have authority within that world, right? So the guy who's sort of this dirtbag loser who lives in his mom's basement, he doesn't have much frame, right? Because he doesn't have a world that anybody wants to participate in. If you look at, like, say, let's just use an extreme example, Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's frame is bulletproof because he has this, I don't know how legit it is, but like he certainly has this world into which people want to enter, and not just women, but men want to enter into it as well, right? When you are in here's another great example is children. Children understand frame like innately because they depend on their parents for their survival. They depend on mom and dad for toilet paper, lights being on, and food on the table, and oxygen and water and everything else. So they are, until they get to the point of self-sufficiency, they are in the frame of their parents. Same thing applies to your employer, as I was like making an example of here in cardinal rule of relationships. In any relationship, the one with the most power is the one who needs the other the least. I'm going to show you the rest of Dr. Taraban's thing and explain to you why I disagree with everything else that he's had to say here. And this is why you guys wonder why I lose my fucking mind when I listen to like Sadia Khan, like rip me off wholesale and then just butcher it and just mumble out the words. War brides, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And then if I say something, they'll go, Rolo, geez, those red pill guys, XYZ. Well, those red pill guys that you're lifting their material from, yeah, I think they know what they're talking about and you don't. You're a fucking product. I'm not saying that about Taraban, but certainly Sadia. You don't know what you're saying. In fact, your delivery is not even that good. So please sit down. Go over there. Go sit in the corner. Why? Like, please, before you even put yourself out there, at least do the work. Do the work. But as far as frame is concerned, the difference between control and frame is like control can exist in frame, but it doesn't necessarily have to. So there's people who have frame and they don't realize that they do. And so therefore, are they more apt to use control within that frame? Probably not. You say, well, that's weird, Rolo. How does that happen? Well, if you've got a very rich individual, very rich man, say he owns, I don't know, an exotic car company, and he is trying to sort of reintegrate himself back into the sexual marketplace. He has frame. He's got a lot of money. He's worth millions. But he doesn't understand intersexual dynamics. Does he have frame? Yeah, he has a world into which women want to enter into. Does he have control? No, because he doesn't know enough about women's nature or his own nature to really exercise a control that his frame would grant him, were he to understand his own nature and intersexual dynamics, be red pill aware, etc., blah, 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 right? So control is an exercise, whereas frame is sort of like this global atmospheric kind of state, right? So you can have frame and no control. Let's say, well, how do you do that? Well, frame, that's why we call it frame control, right? So you have to exercise control from within frame. And the way you do that is you give yourself permission to actually use it. You think enough about yourself to want to use it. That's why you know how you use it? Mental point of origin. Making yourself your own, the first thought that comes into your head when you're making a decision. You want to know how to go from like sort of zero to hero. It all starts with mental point of origin, making yourself the first thing that comes to your mind when you have to make a decision. Now, it's more than that, but that's the starting point. And this is true pretty much of any, you can apply this to any guru who's not like, this isn't the basis of their guruism. Anyone who says that you can do this, reach down deep into your soul and find that inner confidence, that means fuck all if you don't give yourself permission to use your authority. If you don't give yourself permission to be someone else, if you don't give yourself permission to change your mind about yourself. I get this constantly from guys. Guys go, well, how do all of my friends and all of my family think I'm a poser. Here's the pen again. I'm trying to be something I'm not. Yes, you need to be authentic, right? Well, that authenticity is usually what they want you to maintain because it makes you predictable. People don't want you to change because it makes you unpredictable. Well, I don't know what I'm getting from the guy now. He's really kind of become an asshole now that he come back from deployment, now that he won the lottery, now that his father died, now that some trauma happened to him. He broke up with his wife or he got a divorce or whatever. Now he's a different individual as a result of these circumstances. They can wrap their heads around that. You know what they can't wrap their heads around? You deciding to do it yourself. You deciding to say, you know what? I'm not going to do that shit anymore. I'm putting that stuff aside. I've turned over a new leaf. I understand. I've seen the fucking writing on the wall, and now I'm going to change the way I'm going to live my life right now. They do not no one will accept that from you. They will accept it if you have PTSD coming back from combat. They will accept that if you lost your job or you got zeroed out. They will accept that, and usually that's because you offed yourself, right? Or they'll accept that you're a different individual now that you got a divorce or something traumatic happened to you. But if nothing traumatic has happened to you, they will not accept personal change because that means it's a force of will. You're exercising your own will, and they do not like that, especially your friends who rely on you to be predictable. Beware of friends who rely on you for predictability in your behavior, because those are not your friends. People who are your friends are the people who will understand and sort of go through things with you. Most people won't do that. Even your close friends won't do that. They don't want to see it. A lot of people, I hate to say it, but a lot of, I think it's right to a certain degree, but a lot of people will say, well, people don't want to see you succeed. Okay, because it reminds them that they haven't succeeded or they have yet to get to where you're at. Even if it's just like you won the lottery and it was just complete sheer chance, right? There's kind of like that. I think it was it Robert Greene who always he's done interviews where they've said stuff like he said stuff like, watch how your friends react when you get a promotion or you made a lot of money in a sales or you I don't know. However you suddenly had a turn of good fortune, watch how your friends react to that. Watch how they want to talk about it. See how interested they are in your success. The ones who are interested in your success, those guys are your friends. The ones who aren't, or just kind of like, oh, that's nice, or they want to give you grief, or they want to try to tear you down so your head doesn't get too big. Those guys, those ones to watch out for. What is it? Never put too much trust in friends and learn how to use enemies. Usually it's easier to find out when people who have a really tough time with you changing who you are or like altering your personality. Those are the guys to watch out for. It's crabs in a barrel, right? The crab doesn't want the other crab to get out of the barrel, pulls them back in. Well, the people who don't want you to change, those are the crabs. They're crabs, man. They're pulling you back in. There you go. There you go. Hey, Rachel's in the chat too. Hi, Rachel. How are you? Yes, you do outgrow some people, and it's not to say that they weren't friends at the time. They might have been friends at the time. It's just now circumstances have changed. I think people don't like to consider the fact that your friendships are really based on mutual interests. Really lasting ones go beyond that, but they're formed. Most friendships, like even long-term, the most shallow friendships and the most deepest friendships are all formed over mutual interests, common interests. We're both on the same team. Okay. Where do we go from here?
To act in the service of your goals, and it does this by forcing the other person to move, rule of thumb 1, while simultaneously expressing low commitment for the relationship, rule of thumb 2.
Okay, so this is sort of, and not to take anything away from Orion, but this is a sort of a bastardization on a where did I put this? Truth. It's a bastardization on truth to power. And so I'm going, which also, by the way, is in the rational male, truth to power. Let's see if I can grab that. Oh, well, let me see if I can find it here. I know it's in year 1 because that's what all those chapters were in the rational male. Let's see. There it is. Truth to power. Y'all ready for this? Let's go with this. Wow. December 16th, 2011. That's how far back. Wow, Rolo, you're really old. You're so old. Yeah, I'm old. And you know why? You know why people rip me off? Because I'm so old. Where'd it go? Here we go. Rolo just wanted to sit there and have people stroke ego and give him props. No, I'm just making you aware of where all this bullshit is coming from. There we go. This is, and the reason why I bring this up is because it's one of the posts that gets requoted by me more often than one of the most often ones anyways. Denying the utility of power, vilifying its usages is in itself a means of using power. Right? So if you say power is evil, you shouldn't use power. Power is wrong. That's a form of using power because what you're doing is you're disqualifying the source of the power. Okay, real change works from the inside out. This is a very small one, okay? If you don't change your mind about yourself, where'd that come from? You won't change anything else. Women can change their hair color, their makeup, their clothes, their breast size, and any number of cosmetic alterations on a whim or as they can afford them. But the constant discontent, the constant inadequacies they complain of are rooted in their self-perceptions, not how others perceive them. This is an outside-in mentality, hoping the external will change the internal. And it's just this mentality that lesser men apply to themselves. The only difference being that the application, the AFC, for lack of a better term, average frustrated chump, the average man has the same problem as the vain woman. Okay, really any woman. A lack of true self-understanding of their own problems. It's very difficult to do self-analysis and self-criticism, particularly when it comes to questioning our own beliefs and the reasons why our personalities are what they are. It is akin to telling someone that they are not living their lives correctly or that they're raising their children wrong. Only it's more difficult because we're doing the telling about ourselves to ourselves. Self-estimation, not self-esteem, never happens spontaneously. There always has to be some crisis to prompt it, which is exactly what I was saying. Anxiety, trauma, and crisis are necessary catalysts to stimulate self-consciousness. I know that sounds like really fortune cookie, but it's true. A breakup, a death, a betrayal. Tragically, it's at these points in our lives that we do our best our best introspection. We have our moments of clarity and, yes, discover what abysmal simpering chumps in the days before simping, right? Simpering chumps we've allowed ourselves to be molded into. Okay, denial. The first step to really unplugging from our preconditioning, the feminine matrix, is recognizing that the conditioning has led to the beliefs that we think are integral to our personalities. The psychological term for this is ego investment. Now, I've used this all the time, and I don't know if I've actually defined this or really gone into this lately anyways, so I will here. Psychological term, by the way, I didn't pull this out of my ass. This is actually straight out of like Psych 101. For this is called ego investment. When a person internalizes a mental schema so thoroughly and has become conditioned to it for so long, it becomes an integral part of their personality. So to attack the belief is to literally attack the person. This is why we see such violent reactions to people's political, religious, intersocial, intersexual, intergender, etc. expressions of belief. They perceive it as a personal attack, even when presented with irrefutable empirical evidence that challenges the veracity of those beliefs, right? So let's keep going here. I wanted to come down to where to go. Articles of power. This is where I want to go. Keep going with that. Well, it's interesting that that's sort of the preface that I was just talking about. It's funny how all this kind of bubbles up to the surface. I haven't read this in a long time. Articles of power. The term power has a lot of misapplied connotations to it. When we think about powerful people, we think about influence, wealth, prestige, status, and the ability to have others do our bidding. All of these are not power, Dr. Orion Taraban. And as much as we'd like to convince ourselves that women are attracted to this power, this is false. Because what I've described as aspects of power here are really manifestations of power. Here's the cosmic truth revealed for you. Sorry, I wax poetic. Real power is the degree to which a person has control over their own circumstances. Real power is the degree to which we control the directions of our lives. When we allow our thinking, our personality disorders, and our mental schemas combined with their accompanying behaviors to determine the course of our decisions, where we relinquish real power. This is the difference between, remember, frame, okay? The man who succumbs by force of will or to the responsibilities, liabilities, and accountabilities that are required of him by society, marriage, commitment, family, fatherhood, career choice, etc., leaves him very little influence over the course of his own life. Now, I went into this thing about Paul Gauguin later on here, but that's really the long and the short of this whole thing. Power is the degree of control you have over your own life. Does that extend to tyrannizing other people? Yes, it can. Behaviorally manifesting, yes, it can. I want to build the pyramids of fucking Egypt. So therefore, as Pharaoh, I must dominate and tyrannize a population so that I can build these fucking pyramids, because that's what I want to do with my life. My power as Pharaoh over the chosen ones means that I'm going to tyrannize them so that they will do my bidding, because my life and the things that I want to do and the maneuverability I have as the emperor, a god emperor of mankind, the only way I can do that is to tyrannize other people. Does that mean does that mean power itself is tyrannical? No. Can it be used tyrannically? Yes, it can, but that's not the nature of power. Power is the degree of control that you have over the direction and the course of your own life. I was writing this at the time because I wanted to illustrate the fact that there's a lot of people, especially a lot of men, who are effectively powerless. So when people ask me like, Rolo, what do you mean by men don't have authority over their lives? They have responsibility, but no authority. This is the core. This is where it's at. It's not that men don't have power. They do. They just relinquish it without knowing that they're doing that. So they will just say like, well, I have all of these responsibilities, these liabilities, the accountabilities for my kids, my wife, my dogs. I have a lot of fucking responsibilities, and I'm 55 years old, and my kid is out and married and grown up. I'm an empty nester, by comparison. But I have a lot of people who depend on me to be predictable, right? I have a lot of people who need me to be powerful, because in affecting the things that I want to do in my life, other people benefit as a result of that. So this also plays into what I've said this a million times on the show, is the idea of enlightened self-interest. It's not that I'm a prick. It's not that I'm a selfish son of a bitch. It's that I prioritize my needs first. I prioritize myself first. I have mental point of origin, and I am the first thing that comes into my head when I am making a decision, when I'm presented with choices, when I'm presented with options. I think of me first. And you know why? Because when I do that, and I make good, and I trust myself to make really good decisions, especially now, but when I am the one who is the primary first thought, subconsciously first thought that comes into my mind, and not my mom, and not my wife, and not my girlfriend, not my future hopeful girlfriend that will show up on my front door one day, or anyone else for that matter, my family, my boss, my I don't know, my CEO. When they're not the ones that come into my head first, and I'm the one that comes into my head first, then I'm more effective as a human being. And the people who depend on me and the people who I feel some sort of accountability to, they benefit because I made the decision about myself first. So anyone telling you that power is about controlling other people is full of shit. You need to be concerned with yourself first. Real power comes from controlling having the control over your own life. You don't get there if you're too busy thinking, if the first thing that comes into your head is someone else or something else. So again, enlightened self-interest. I cannot help others until I can help myself. I cannot help others as well as when I help myself first. When the oxygen comes out of the top of the plane's crashing and they tell you, put your own mask on first and then help grandma or the little kid that's sitting next to you. Because if you don't do that, you're dead. And they die too, because they can't help themselves as well as when you help yourself first. That's enlightened self-interest. It doesn't mean you are a selfish, singular son of a bitch. You're a selfish prick. No. In fact, if anything, you probably should think of yourself a little bit more like that. But is that what's entitled? No. What it means is I can't help anyone until I can help myself. I can't help anyone as well as when I help myself first. Because what's best for me is usually what's best for Ned, for Anna, for my wife, for my kids, for Sambata, for my mother-in-law who depends on me, for people who depend on me for Mike, for everyone else. If I think of myself first, then like the good times and the prosperity flows like a mighty river from the master of mankind, because I care. I give a shit about these people. That's the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath, is they just think of themselves, and it doesn't go beyond that. Sociopathy, I would say, is think of yourself first. I can't help anyone until I help myself, and I don't want to help anyone anyway, so fuck off and die. That's sociopathy. Enlightened self-interest is I think of myself first, and then I go, okay, now that I have this and I've benefited from this, how can I help others? And that's what I do. I was telling Maya, and I told my wife this, I've told a lot of people the same things, right? Which is, okay, I got to go. I will see you in 1 second. I'm going to play a video for you, and I want you guys to watch this. I have to go down really quickly here. I have a video for you guys to watch. Where did it go? No, not that one. Not that one. There it is. Okay. Let's have a watch this, and I will be right.
Husbands who complain about having zero sex have no idea how the female sex drive actually works, and the complaining makes it much worse.
My favorite thing is when couples come in and they haven't had sex in a year, and I ask why, and she looks at him and says, because he hasn't asked. And he says, well, I kind of hinted and you just never seemed interested. And she says, well, when was the last time you spent time with me? Well, why would I spend time with you if you're not having sex with me? And that right there is exactly the spiral. Women, after 1 year, their sex drive switches from bonding with you mode to long-term stability and mate retention. If you have given her the adequate emotional bonding, and if she has decent enough, secure enough attachment to receive that bonding, her sex drive will go way up because her brain says, keep this man around and have as many of his babies as I can. We must have 15 babies in the next week. That's what her brain will say. And I've seen couples, I've worked with couples in their 60s who come in, and sorry for this mental image, but they come in having very little sex and they leave after a few sessions having sex 3 or 4 or 5 times a week in their 60s because they improve their actual emotional intimacy, which leads to better non-sexual physical intimacy, which then leads overwhelmingly to sexual physical intimacy. It should begin in your emotional bonding and connection. It will drive her sex drive through the roof, and she will not only be receptive to you, she will be chasing you through the house.
God, you gotta love this like enthusiasm.
Yeah, you had another tweet that said, at about 6 to 12 months into a relationship, the female sex drive switches from attraction and bonding to long-term stability. That means emotional intimacy, trust, and predictability. Many couples lack these three things, so her sex drive tanks. Neither person fully gets why.
No, they do get why. Eventually they get why. When we're talking about like couples who lose like sexual attractions, I love how these are the same dudes who pop off about who only want to talk about like sexual, or they only want to talk about the beta buck side of hypergamy, and they don't want to. You want to know, like I said here before, the secrets to the title of today's show, the secrets to a great marriage. Here's the secrets to a great marriage: urgency, competition anxiety, dread, provoking and anxiety. People give me so much shit for when I said this before. Some of the best sex you'll have, you're married, the best sex you will ever have as a married couple will be when you're having makeup sex, when you thought you were going to break up, when you thought you were going to file divorce papers, when you thought when you thought it was over and it's not over, and you get back and you fuck like you fucked when you were single. It's because there's an urgency there. There's a fear of loss. There's that desire. What was it? I've had people on women on Access Vegas who'll hit me up and they'll say, Rolo, I have a new appreciation for my husband because the woman would do the delusion calculator. And so she would go, okay, I'm going to type all my husband's stats into the delusion calculator and see how rare an animal he is. And women realize, and remember, this is pretty like basic shit too. Okay. It's just like CDC and Census Bureau information. So he's how tall, he's how old, he's have paid X amount of dollars. Is he obese? Is he not obese? Whatever. Is he black? Is he white? Is he not, no race whatsoever? Just type in those basic like criterion for the delusion calculator, and it comes back, and women realize, oh my God, I'm with a guy who is 0.007124% of the population. Does that prompt them to want to fuck the guy that much more? I can't say for sure it does, but if it doesn't, it's because everything that he is mundane to her, and she hasn't been put into a position of like scarcity. She hasn't been put into the position of almost losing that guy and then realizing how fucked she'd be if she did lose that guy. Now, monetarily, she might be able to say, well, I can take him for half of his shit, right? If he divorces me, fine. I don't care. I'll take all his money. That's all I care about. No, not necessarily, because it still forces her back into the sexual marketplace. And I wonder, these are like really unpopular like considerations, I think, because you're never going to see people really do like, you're not going to see Alex from Date Psych do stats on whether or not women regret divorcing their husbands. You'll never see those. Those stats are really hard to come by. Oh, I shouldn't have divorced him, because now I'm fat and I'm 40 and I can't find another man, but at least I got half his shit. So was it worth it? Cheaper to keep him, maybe, in that situation. But what gets me is these are the same guys who, if I'm talking about alpha fucks and beta bucks, if I'm talking about short-term sexual benefits versus long-term security benefits, they run me up the fucking flagpole. They just read me the riot act. But here they are talking about it. And the problem with most of these guys is they're the same motherfuckers that want to talk about how important, the only consideration is long-term security, provisioning, protection, and parental investment. Like that's the only reason women would ever want to get with a guy is because he represents security and everything. And it's like, no, that's not why women get with guys in the first place. They get with you because it's not safe. They want to fuck the Tinder swindler. They want to fuck Christian Grey for 50 Shades of Grey. They want to fuck the rock band drummer or guitar player. The lead singer. They want danger. They want the roller coaster. They want to know that the roller coaster is safe and that right before it flies off the track, somebody's there, usually a guy, to make sure that it stays on the track, but they still want the thrill of the roller coaster. They still want to know that they're going to be safe, even though they're about to, the car's about to go careening off the side of the fucking freeway. And the parachute deploys right at the last minute. They want to know it's all safe, but yet they still want the thrill of thinking that it's not safe. And you can say, well, that applies to men too. Yeah, it does in another context, but we're talking about intersexual dynamics and how women's nature is. So that's the alpha fuck side of things. It's alpha fucks and beta bucks. Beta bucks is the training wheels. Beta bucks is the security, the knowing that the roller coaster is actually safe and it's not going to fly off the track. But the alpha fuck side is that, man, I love going on a roller coaster because it goes up and down and up and down and everything else. And I know at the end of the roller coaster, I'm going to get off and go, oh man, what a great ride.
So many women that I work with do not understand how their own sex drive works. I have clients who come in and they say, Adam, I don't know why I don't have a high sex drive. I just feel like my husband is mad at me for not having sex with him, but I just kind of don't want to.
Okay. Yeah. No, they understand fully, Adam. They understand exactly how it works. You know how I know? Because none of them are big fans of the DC comic book character Aquaman, but they all want to see the Aquaman movie. That none of them have ever heard of 50 Shades of Grey because it was a self-published book, but somehow 65 million copies of that were sold by the end of that year. Why is that so popular? I don't know. Well, it must be because Christian Grey was such an upstanding gentleman of society, and he was taking care of his kids and his wife, and really had a long-term plan and wanted to get married to a no-name chick. Why was Twilight? Because it's basically the same thing. Why was Twilight so popular? They understand their own sexuality. Trust me on this. They're just not getting it. They sacrificed sexual urgency, dread, competition anxiety, the roller coaster ride for a safe SUV. For a guy who's, I love dad bods. Get the fuck out of here. No woman likes dad bods, period. In fact, I don't think there has been a more insulting, offensive meme since dad bods. Trust me on this one. What calendar sells more? The Chippendales calendar or the dad bods calendar? Which one do you think women want to have up on their, cubicle wall? Which one sells more? The dad bods? Because you would think that by order of degree that the dad bods calendar will be the one that was everybody loved because everybody says they love dad bods. Get the fuck out of here. So you kind of you got to remember that you're never going to get a straight answer because it's not in women's best interests to give you a straight answer about their knowing or not knowing about their own sexuality. In fact, if anything, it makes better sense for married women who aren't fucking their husbands to say, I don't know, we must have mismatched libidos. No, you don't. You just don't want to fuck him because he's not fun. He's not exciting. He's not dangerous. He's not a roller coaster. He's not Jack Reacher. He's not Justin Waller, and he's not Jason Momoa. And God knows, hey, can somebody give me some better guys to fucking throw? Was it Chris Evans? He's not those guys. He's not Thunder from Down Under. And when all you've had is safe, chubby daddy who's comfy and familiar, and he's like part of the family. There's a concept, and I think it was Dr. Warren Farrell who said this back in the day, is that the reason why women don't want to fuck their husbands later on is because the guy goes from boyfriend, fun, fuckable rock band boyfriend, to dad and father and husband. Because dad, father, and husband are family. Rock band drummer, rock band nobody fucks bass players. Anybody, rock band guitar player, that guy fucks. Those are guys that fuck. They've gone from the guy that fucks to the guy that doesn't fuck. Or he might have been the guy that fucked and he turned into the guy that didn't fuck. And in the meantime, and in the process, he became dad. Dad is family. Husband is family. And and this is, again, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but this was Dr. Warren Farrell's theory, is that familiarity means something like incest. Like, you don't want to fuck your dad. You don't want to fuck your brothers. You don't want to fuck anybody in your family because now they're family. So the guy who used to be the hot fun guy you wanted to have, hot monkey sex in the back of your car with after the show was over, that guy's dad now. That guy is Pop. That guy is Dottie. That guy is now family. You don't fuck family. You don't get turned on by family unless that guy really I'll tell you one of the reasons. You want to know one of the reasons? Well, I'd say the main reason why wives don't want to fuck their husbands is because they cease to be dangerous. Women like danger. They want a dangerous man. We can talk about high bristophilia till they're blue in the face, but it doesn't have to be that extreme. They want a guy who they're walking on eggshells with. And I don't mean that in the sense like it's, oh my God, like they're psychotic about it. I'm just mean that in the fact that they respect that guy. And I think that as I said before, women's form of respect and men's form of respect are completely different. But in this case, in men's form of respect, he is the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. Now, you can be the man that other men want to be, but you can still be the guy that other women just don't want to fuck. Like, okay, he's dad, he's out there mowing the lawn. He's got a belly, right? Took his shirt off. What did you do? Why would you do that? Why would you subject the neighborhood to that? We want to see Chris Evans chopping wood with no shirt on, not you walking around the neighborhood with a beer in your hand and, your pot belly sticking out and you're mowing the lawn. But no woman wants to fuck that. Even if you could be in charge of multi-million-dollar company and be the guy that other men want to be, but no other woman wants to fuck you. Or you could be the kind of guy that other women definitely want to fuck all the time, but no other man wants to be. Like that combination exists too. Usually it's drug dealers and gang members. And it's like, yeah, women want to fuck him, but like guys are like, I want to be that guy. So those combinations actually exist too. But the reason why women don't want to fuck their husbands is simply because he's not dangerous anymore. He's familiar. When they say familiarity breeds contempt, there it is. That's all you got to do. Trust me, Adam, they understand their sexuality. Guys, okay, this is just a question for guys right now. This is addressed to the gentleman right now. I don't know if you have a friend or maybe you've experienced this yourself, but like if you've ever gone through a divorce, if you've ever gone through a breakup even, and you're with your wife or you're with your girl or whatever, I've written essays about this in the past, but you're with a woman who won't do certain things in bed with you. She won't gobble the goo, or she won't do reverse cowboy or cowgirl, whatever. She won't do those things because she's just self-conscious. Oh, I don't want to get that stuff on me. Ooh, you want me to do what? And then as soon as she's out of the relationship and as soon as she's divorced, she is doing all that in like a bag of chips, man. She does everything because you weren't the guy that would bring that out. And you were like, I can't believe my wife would want to do something like this. I can't believe she had this in her. How come she wouldn't do it with me? Because you're you. That's why. I have seen this in the reverse in the past where like guys have found like old like video. This is back in the day, old videotapes of their girlfriend like having sex with like guys who are in their college years, right? And they've done like 3 ways or 4 ways with their college friends, and they videotaped it, doing like amateur porn or something like that. And then their poor husband, who she will only have missionary sex with if she has sex with him at all. Now he's wondering, well, gee, I married a slut who fucks like a prude. Well, she makes up this bullshit about like, well, I've changed and I'm not like that anymore and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you just don't want to do that. You did that with somebody else who's not your husband, who's not me. How come those guys brought that out in you and I can't seem to bring that out in you? That's the difference that's exactly what this guy's talking about right here. It's not mismatched libidos. There's no such thing as mismatched libidos. Oh, I have a higher sex drive. And trust me, Men have a higher sex drive than their wives across the fucking board. You don't believe me? I can show you the stats for it. Across the board, husbands always want to have sex more than their wives do. And that's not to say that women don't want to have sex with their husbands. They do. But I'm saying that on average, men want to fuck their wives more than wives want to fuck their husbands. Just simple. This simple biology, right? So what turn, I've said that every woman's a slut, but you just have to be the guy to bring it out in her. Not many guys know how to bring that out in her. The easiest way, I'll tell you what's funny, is when I have done what I've called the reconstruction. If you've read my third book, Positive Masculinity, there are 4 chapters in there, and that's what I call the reconstruction chapters. And I wrote those sections in there to address exactly what this guy's talking about right here. Is that, pull this guy out, is to understand most guys don't want to divorce their wives. They want to have a great relationship, right? A secret to a great marriage, right? They don't want to divorce their wives. They're in love with their wives. That's why when they have a real tough time with the red pill, like guys who've been married for a long time and they're in sexless marriages, they're like, I don't want to divorce her. I don't want to get out. I'm going to lose a lot of money. But it's not even so much losing money or half their shit. They're still in love with their wives. It's just wives don't want to fuck them. And they want to get off and they want to do something. And then you've got like guys who they'll get addicted to porn, or like I've said before, pornography has prolonged more marriages than it has ever destroyed, because it's the fail safe. It's the release valve for guys who aren't getting laid. Well, it's destroyed them because it's because he's jerking off. That's why she doesn't want to fuck. No. He resorts to porn because the real thing is not forthcoming. You talk about, you know what, let me, you really want me to fuck up your program right now? I will tell you this right now. Pornography, especially for Christian guys, right? Or religious guys and believers in general. You want to know why it fucks up guys so much in a religious context? Pornography. It's not because it's the jerking off. It's not even the release. It's not even the sexual release. It's not because, it gives them unrealistic expectations. Well, it shouldn't. It shouldn't give you unrealistic expectations. Your wife should want to do triple monkey backflips on you in the bedroom, right? Sorry, CGA. She should want to have hot monkey sex. She should want to do all those things that you see in the porn movies. Like, she should be coming up with shit. She should be going, you know what? I'm going to try reverse cowgirl tonight. I want to try it this way. I want to go and, I don't know, let's go get the Kama Sutra and figure shit out. She should be imagining ways to fuck you. She should be creative. She should be a fucking sex artist. She should want to fuck you with such abandon and such complete lack of self-consciousness that you are the one I want your babies. And you know what? I want to make sure that I'm on a trapeze when you're inseminating me with your babies. I want to make sure that it is the most memorable experience of your fucking life. That's what a wife should do for a husband. And you know what? Doesn't happen. That woman is doing it with the hot guy in the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break. She was drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another. And didn't have to make sure that the sheets matched the fucking, the sham on the bed. Didn't have to have the room at the perfect temperature and the barometric pressure in the room, and Venus was aligned with fucking Pluto. It doesn't matter. It's like, let's go. I am so hot for this guy. That's not a mismatch. Her libido was not mismatched with a hot guy in the foam cannon party. Take that to the fucking bank. But it is with you. Why? Because you're familiar. Because you'll tolerate that shit. Yeah, I like it that way. Okay, well, what happens? That guy goes and sees porn, and he knows what he's missing. He goes and he sees porn. He sees women doing reverse cowgirl or whatever the fuck it is. I can't even tell. I don't even know what the names of these are. Domo, help me out. Give me some. Tiffany, give me some. I need some porn vernacular. I don't even know what to call the positions. I've never seen that before in my life. Right. Well, neither is your wife, and she's not about to figure it out on her own. Well, you need to talk. No, you don't need to talk. She should want to do that. She should already figure, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to try this with them. Let's go get the pop rocks. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go try something new. It shouldn't just be the guy initiating either. That's another thing. But when it comes to married sex, if you want to know why pornography for married guys is so endemic, it's because, especially religious guys, they see what they're missing. Man, these guys you can fuck like that. And of course, especially this day and age, most of those guys have already seen this porn before that. He's not getting that in the real. Well, porn gives you unrealistic expectations for sex. You shouldn't really expect to get reverse cowgirl from your wife. Why? Why not? Why not? Like, we're not talking about like sex on the moon. We're just talking about like basic, hey, this seems pretty hot. Let's try this. Why aren't you thinking of this? Why do I have to like be the one that initiates and is creative about this shit? Why? Because I can see it in porn and it doesn't seem like it's all that like complex. It's because she doesn't want to fuck you. That's why. There's no mismatched libido. She doesn't want to fuck you. There's a blue pill to get your dick hard. But did you know that there's a pink pill to turn women on? There used to be anyways. It never really took off. It was the pink pill. It was supposed to like help couples with mismatched libidos. And you know what? It was a dismal failure. The pink pill, look it up. And not the podcast. The pink pill. It was this pill that was supposed to stimulate. It was like Spanish fly, right? It was supposed to turn a woman on. It was supposed to get her going, get her rocks off, or get her like aroused. And they were marketing and or pitching it to women who would want to, who are having mismatched libidos with their husbands. Well, the problem is nobody wanted to take it because that's not how hypergamy works. It's not a chemical thing. It's a psychological thing. A woman doesn't get like, there's a reason why women get hot for Jason Momoa. And it has nothing to do with a chemical reaction. It's the holistic method. I need holistic sexual therapy. I don't need the chemical. Because that's how it works for women. So in that case, I guess maybe you're correct. Men and women are different when it comes to sex. But if you want to, I've had so many guys that I've even done counseling for, and this is also part of the reconstruction series that I put in Positive Masculinity. Get your fat ass to the gym. Once you start doing that, I will guarantee you this. I would bet that your sex life will improve, like it proportionally to how well you get yourself into shape. You drop, I don't know, most guys, that's usually their problem, by the way, because 75% of the United States population is overweight and 35% of men and 40% of women are morbidly obese or obese in a clinical medical sense, right? Odds are you don't look all that good. Walk through any major metropolitan airport, as I've said before. Go from TSA, go to your gate, and count how many people you see are overweight. Actually, don't do that. Count how many people you see are in shape, because that's going to be more rare than the people who are overweight. Don't dress very well, don't have any style to themselves. Of course you have. Of course there's sexless marriages because nobody takes care of women too. Of course, guys are fucking husbands are addicted or have porn habits because they're looking and stroking off to what they're missing. Porn shows guys what they're missing. Porn shows Chase and fucking Michael Knowles and all these guys who are like these moralists. It shows them what they're missing. This is what you're missing. You're missing Jasmine Jafar, man. Fuck, look at those titties. From Mia Khalifa, man. Holy crap. Well, she looks kind of like Mia Khalifa. That's what I'm missing. Fuck. Why doesn't my wife wear those kind of glasses with no lenses in them? Fuck. You want the holistic method. Men are all about the holistic method. That's what porn is. The pink pill, dead serious. Like, women wouldn't take it. It was a flop. Because women need to have the fantasy. They need to have the story behind it. They need to want to fuck you, not to take a pill to want to fuck you. In fact, it was, I think one of the reasons why it got, I don't know if it got banned, but one of the reasons it was very unpopular was because people thought, like women, feminists thought that guys were going to use that or slip it in somebody's drink. It wasn't like a roofie where it like knock you out, but it was supposed to in some way like stimulate women's sexual arousal. Well, that's fine. You could certainly make a woman horny. That doesn't mean she's horny for you. her sex drive doesn't work that way. Yeah, you can give her the pink pill and she really wants to suddenly watch Aquaman. I don't know why. It's a mystery to me. There are, me being a student of peptides recently, there's peptides that will, like, was it PT-141? will do almost the same thing for women. It's injectable, right? It's just like a peptide. Melanotan will do that. I don't know if semaglutide like Ozempic will do. Does that do female arousal? I'm not really sure. I mean, fuck, you could put women on gear. There, by the way, there is TRT for women too. And oddly enough, they seem to want to fuck their husbands once they get that. Once that gets in their bloodstream, it's very, very minuscule compared to men, of course. But there's peptides, there's TRT, there's women on gear. Hell, I've shown a video on here where women, took, I don't know, Anavar or some shit like that, women's gear, and they get turned on that. They want to fuck. Well, they want to fuck. They just don't want to fuck you. There's a selection process. There's a selectivity that goes into that. Yeah. Let's see. I pulled that one out. I think I had one more for you guys before I go down and watch the Super Bowl. Actually, that's what I was being summoned for. Hey, the Super Bowl's on. Sorry, I have to go watch today. I feel remiss if I don't, because my boys are San Francisco is finally in the Super Bowl, and they're probably going to, I don't want to doom them. I hate it because I love it when my team gets there, but it's like, okay, it is Kansas City. And we also know that, was it Taylor Swift's boyfriend plays on KC? I forget who the guy, Travis something or other. Thanks, Rolo. My parents always told me friends are only for the good times, which in my case always turned out to be true. Tribes are hard to come by in these modern times, most definitely. And most guys don't even know how to relate to their tribe. All right. I think I had one more little hoochie I wanted to show you here. I've been working on, I really am having second thoughts on doing it. I was going to do a dedicated Jordan Peterson show because I might save this for next week. But it was like how Jordan Peterson met his wife. And I the thing that gets me the most about Peterson these days is like, he's so contradictory, and he's contradictory in everything he does. In every video I see, it's like, hey, guys aren't fucking anymore. 30% of guys in Japan are hikikomoris, and they're just giving up on sex. And then the next like short video, it's like, how dare you? How dare
She's
you?
not a Christian.
How dare you men want to fuck women? Get your fucking story straight, dude. Oh, that's not it. Heated debate on Myron Gaines and his hate for women. Oh, God. Do I really want to get into that? No, I don't. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is a short form one. Here we go.
Is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce. You're not a bad person, so don't let.
Where did all the good men go? If you're not happy in your marriage, just get a divorce and then go find someone new so you can enjoy some more temporary happiness.
Okay, this bitch holding the phone here, like, I would rather watch the video that she's like about to comment on than her. Because all she's doing is coattailing. She's just reactionary. She without the guy in the Titleist hat, who I happen to like quite a bit. She has nothing, but that's not the point. Listen to the guy.
Like, this has got to be the worst advice I've ever seen on the internet. Like, I thought marriage was a commitment, for better or worse. Nah, it's just when you're not happy, leave, go find someone else. But guess what? Your second marriage and your third marriage, by the data, says it doesn't get easier. Actually, your chances of divorce go up. Because you develop a mindset, oh, well, if I'm not happy, we're not talking about abuse or cheating, but if I'm not happy, I'm leaving. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with being miserable the rest of your life. But hey, that's what people do, right? That's what we do in 2023. Why even say vows? Because obviously they mean nothing, right? Like I said.
Hypergamy doesn't care about your wedding vows, brah.
In the beginning, where did all the good men go? Where did all the good women go? Do better. Facts.
The funny thing is she could have just done this without her smiling mug on there the whole time, but she's just like, this is me. I want this juice. You want to talk about if you ever needed an illustration of clout jacking, that's it. Now, why am I putting this out there? And I like this because he kind of brings up a really good point, and this is something I want to end with too. I think that a lot of You want secrets to a good marriage. Okay. Here's a secret to a good marriage. Okay. Understanding happiness. Somebody was asking me what I was just pointing out, like, Rolo, you don't believe in love? No, I absolutely believe in love. I love my wife dearly. I love Ned. If I didn't, I wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if there was no such thing as love. Those red pill guys don't believe in love. No, we do. Those red pill guys, we do. This guy does, right? But I don't believe in it as in like an 80s power ballad. But this guy hits on this, right? Well, you know, if you're not happy, if she's not meeting your needs, what gets me is when I listen to moralists like a Michael Knowles or a Matt Walsh or even a Candace Owens or anything like that. One of the things that gets me is like your responsibility as a man is to meet her needs. And you want to know why I say that even the most staunch conservative is still a fucking feminist? It's never been better illustrated by this default understanding that a man must meet a woman's needs. Never is it, well, my needs are reverse cowgirl, and I need you to gobble the goo at least three times a week. That's my needs. You're not meeting my needs? You're fucking out of here. You're out of here. I don't know. She wasn't meeting my needs. Well, what were your needs, sir? Well, let's see. I needed doggy style. I needed reverse cowgirl. I needed to blow a load in her, you know, twice a day, whatever, but she just wasn't meeting my needs, so I was done. That's how, I can't believe it. Misogyny. But if you're not making that bitch happy 24/7 and she's not in a constant state of like nirvanic bliss, you're not meeting her needs. Divorce him. You're out of here, mister. Yes. You're not meeting my needs. Well, fundamentally, it boils down to this misunderstanding of what happiness is. And you will never, I've yet to this day heard anyone on either the left or the right say what I'm about to say, is that happiness is a proximate goal. You will never make a woman happy. And and let me clarify that. That's not, oh, you can only be responsible for your own happiness. No. You will never make anyone happy, and you will never make yourself happy. Not in the long term, not in any sustainable sense. Never gonna happen. Never. You say, don't never say never. Never will that happen because you don't understand the nature of happiness. Women who say, I had to get out of that relationship because I was unhappy. I was unhappy. Of course you were. Because you thought that happiness was a sustainable goal state, you dumb bitch. You took SSRIs, antidepressants. You took these drugs. Maybe you were hooked on fucking opiates. Maybe you were drinking too much. Maybe you were on SSRIs. Maybe you went to church because you thought that that's where you're going to find your sustainable happiness, and you weren't happy. That you weren't unhappy there. You weren't unhappy with your SSRIs. You were unhappy even afterwards. Those are just ways, chemical ways in which to like give you the idea that there's some hope for a sustainable happiness. There's not. God forbid, you can't make yourself happy. Your husband sure the fuck isn't going to be able to make you happy. He could put you into positions where you could be happy in the doing of something. Yes. But happiness is not an end state. It's not a ultimate outcome. It is a proximate outcome. You're happy, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now. I like doing this show. Forgive me, but it's something I enjoy. Right? I am happy when I'm playing guitar. I'm happy when I'm creating something. I'm happy when I'm painting my fucking 40K miniatures, which I never get to do. I will be happy in a moment when I'm having something to eat and watching the 49ers. I'll be happy doing that. And I might even be happy after I get my master's degree or my bachelor's degree or my doctorate degree. I might be happier, because it opens me up to other things that might make me even more happy. But it's in the doing. It's not in the being. And ladies, here is the number one secret to a great marriage. Understand. Say this to yourself, ladies, Rachel and whoever else is in the chat right now. Say this with me. Repeat after me. I will never be happy in the long term. Happiness is a proximate goal, a proximate outcome, not an ultimate outcome, not an ultimate goal. Happiness is unsustainable. The human condition is defined by discontent, not by content. Anyone telling you they have some secret to being happy in the long term is selling you something. Most often it's drugs. Lord knows, most often it's alcohol too, because this guy sold it to you and it made me a very rich man. Because I was in wine and spirits for a long time. And you know who my primary demographic was? The Sex in the City Appletini market. Oh, we're gonna look like we're gonna go down to have our Appletinis and our Cosmos and look for Mr. Big. Yeah, and you're gonna give me a whole shit ton of money while you're doing it because you think that you're gonna be happy by doing that in the long term. Once I find Mr. Big, I'll be happy forever. Happily ever after. Bullshit. Happiness is not a sustainable state. And thank God it's not, because if it did, you'd stagnate and die. That leads to stagnation. Discontent is the human condition. Managing that discontent is where we get into trouble or we do really good for ourselves. You can manage discontent creatively, and you'll probably be happy in doing that, or you can manage it destructively, and you'll probably be unhappy in doing that. If you're taking SSRIs, guess what you're doing? You're managing your discontent destructively. If you're hooked on porn, guys, you're sedated. You're managing your discontent destructively. If you are, if you're hooked on video games, you're smoking a lot of weed, you are hooked on prescription opioids, you're sedating yourself in some way. I don't know how that is. Congratulations. You're managing your discontent destructively, or else you're stagnating. Eventually, it'll be destructive. Find a way to deal with your discontent creatively, constructively. If you want a great marriage, you want a great relationship, you want to, as soon as I find my girl and then I'll have babies and everything, and then I'll be happy. No, you will not be happy. You'll be happy in the doing, in the hunt. It's not the kill. It's the thrill of the hunt. It's the roller coaster. It's not before the roller coaster. It's not at the end of the roller coaster. What makes you happy is going up and down, right? It's the thrill of death. Yeah, I might die on this. God, I'm trying to think of like I don't even remember. I'm trying to think of the names of some of the best roller coasters I've ever been on. Amazing. So anyways, yeah, playing games is bad. Now, finally, last but not least, I have to say this because I'm about to let you guys go here because I'm going to go down and watch a game. Football and sports, soccer, I don't care what hockey, definitely not hockey. All of these things, you will see this because this comes around. Remember I told you things come in cycles? This is one of those things that comes in cycles. November, that's when everybody does No Fap November and everybody wants to talk about semen retention right then. Well, you know what they want to talk about around Super Bowl is how bad sports are for guys. Oh, who would want to watch those guys run around a field and get paid all that money? And you're just sitting there. It's no better than masturbation. You're watching these guys live it out, and you're just sitting there drinking beer and cheering on a team, and you're not really doing anything. And in the meantime, you're just wasting your time. And you should be spending time with your family and doing quality things. And why are you watching, Ronaldo on the soccer field? And why are you watching the Golden Knights just destroy the fucking Avalanche and get the Stanley Cup? And no real man would watch sports. What's wrong with you? That's hero worship. Why would you want to watch it's just like watching a guy fuck your wife. No, it's not. Fuck off and die. Now I'm going to tell you why it's not. Because sports are a proxy for war. There's nothing more masculine than fucking sports, especially team sports. Even if you are a fan of tennis, you're still watching one individual man go up against another guy and to see who's the best badass. Why don't people talk shit about Conor McGregor and whoever he's beating the tar out of? That's okay. Somebody asked me earlier, do you watch UFC? Yeah, I like it as much as anybody else does. I like martial arts. I've practiced like Kali for a long time. I have fenced competitively, epee and saber. Thank you very much. Oh, or golf. I play golf, for fuck's sake. I love playing golf. I have no problem with that. And I like to watch. Now that I play golf, I kind of can appreciate watching like Tiger Woods and the rest of these guys, Mickelson and the rest of these guys. But there's nothing wrong with watching sports. It's a proxy for war. There's nothing more warlike than watching the San Francisco 49ers with their uniforms, in their formations, in watching one tribe go up. My tribe happens to be the Niners. Mackenzie's tribe happens to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Mac knows who I'm talking about. And I watch my tribe go up against her tribe. It's tribal. It is fucking feral. There is nothing wrong with watching sports. If anything, you want to know, I don't understand why people like guys like sports so much. If you're saying that, you don't understand how men work. You don't understand how you work. I can't believe you guys watch football. How can you be red pill and watch football? How can you not watch football and be red pill? How can you not? Because you don't understand the basics of it. It is basically tribalism, and it's a bloodless form of warfare. And we love it. We're human beings. We love that shit. It's just bread and circuses. Well, yeah, but there's a reason why that bread and circuses are very fucking popular. Because we like to watch people get the shit kicked out of them. I watched, what was it? Rumble is doing this slap fight, where they slap somebody. You just like sit there and you have to take it. And whoever gets knocked out from the slap is the one. Like, it's the stupidest shit in the world, but I understand why it's popular. I absolutely do. I wouldn't waste my time with it. I don't think it's all that. I mean, who knows? There was a time when MMA fighting was like verboten. You could only do. Did you know that there was like King of the Cage? You could only do that in the state of Nevada. It was the only state in the union that would allow you to have like MMA style fighting. It was King of the Cage. Now, of course, it's more popular than boxing. The octagon. Going to the octagon, the steel cage octagon. So is that okay? Because that's sports. So anybody telling you sports is a waste of your time. I can't believe you. How come you're not? And of course, we add a bit of moralism to it. You should be home with your kids, and you should be the man of the house, and you shouldn't be watching sports. That's wrong. But you still want to. It's like, damn. Because I've been I like football. I play fantasy football with Donovan Sharp. Guys, what are we on, our 5th or 6th season now? I enjoy it. I will be the first to admit I like it. I like being able to, because it's strategy. I don't play first person shooter games because I have a stigmatism. It makes me feel like queasy to play those games, but I probably wouldn't anyways, because I love real-time strategy games. I like chess. I like Warhammer 40,000. I like Total War. That's a fucking great game. I play Homeworld. I play Homeworld mobile right now, and I probably will play Homeworld 3 when it finally releases. I like strategy games. I don't have like people say, oh, you play video games. Oh, it's sedation. Yeah, it is. If you turn it into something that you're doing, like if your escape world is a better life than your shitty real life, then yeah, it's a problem. But there's nothing wrong with liking games and playing games, especially if you get something out of it. Like, good chess players are very good tactical strategic thinkers as well. So there's a crossover there. So if you're playing chess or you're playing like I happen to think of like Warhammer 40,000 as like chess with like rocket launcher, missile launchers and bolt guns, but there's a tactical learning that comes with that. And so, like I said, I don't have any problem with playing games. It's when it becomes something that's like, your real life is superseded by your fantasy escape life. That's one thing. My real life is way better than any fantasy life I could be involved in, but it doesn't mean I don't like playing 40K, right? But something to think about. Usually around this time. So anyways, I'm going to go down, watch the game. I'm going to go and leave you because I want to go watch men run around after a ball on the pitch somewhere. Why do you think sports are so popular, man? Because it's a proxy for war. All right, guys. I will see you guys later. So the next show that I do will be Sunday. It's still here. I won't be doing shows like permanently in Vegas until after March 1st. So March 2nd or 3rd will be the first show that I do at Red One Studios down in Las Vegas of this show of The Rational Male. But in the meantime, the next Access Vegas is going to be on the 15th. And then on the 22nd, as I said, we're going to have Jasmine Jafar. We'll have, I don't want to call her Mia Khalifa, Farah. And we're going to do a 2-on-2. And then we're going to put them on the show with the girls on Access Vegas and see how they do. And by the way, big ups to them, props to them for coming out and doing it, because they have more balls than most of these moralists do, these moral things. So anyways, there you have that. I will keep you guys informed. If you want to know what's going on with Thor, just hit me up on Twitter. I'll be happy to let you know what's happening. But in the meantime, if you're moved by the Spirit, please donate to Thor's medical funds right there. It is the GoFundMe. That is the only link in the description right now. In the top there, please, if you want to contribute, please do. They're trying for $100,000. He needs way more than that, but that's a good starting point. Do watch out for that, and I'm sure we'll keep you up to date on what's going on with Thor. He goes in for his brain surgery on either Monday or Tuesday. I'm not really sure yet, but it'll be on that time. And then I'll make announcements as things go along. If you're wondering where I am on Instagram, I am on Access Vegas, the Access Vegas site right now, because I lost my Instagram. I'm still trying to get it back. But you will find me at Access_Vegas. Please follow. And why aren't you following me on that anyways? Check that out. If you want to get into any in-depth, if this is the first time you've watched this show and you want to get into in-depth into any more of what I've been talking about recently, or like especially in this show, I'm talking about war brides. I'm talking about the power dynamics. I talked about all this stuff. Most of this is in my first book. So if you want to get in depth in this, go to Amazon.com, look up The Rational Male, and get the first book. Start with the first book. Everybody always asks me, Rolo, what's the order of the books? Always start with number 1, The Rational Male, the one published in 2013. And yes, the new one's coming out as soon as I get to Vegas. The new one being the hardback version of first. And so do pick that one up. And then after that, it's kind of like, what are your interests? You have to have the foundation. Like the basic rule book is The Rational Male. From there, if you want to read about religion, read religion. You want Player's Handbook, you want to learn like game skills, that's Player's Handbook. You want to learn about what to expect from women at different phases of their maturity, that's going to be Preventive Medicine. You want to learn about family and relationships and marriages and child rearing and parenting, that's going to end up being Positive Masculinity, which is my third book. But read the first one first so you have the foundation, and then you can move on from there. And there's no real reading order. It's just the only one that's first is the first. So do that. But anyways, have a good day, and hopefully the Niners are going to go Niners, and we're going to watch Brock. Oh, by the way, I have a bet with Mike Sartain. I said, if the Niners win, we have to stop calling Brock the bartender. We have to start calling him Brock the quarterback, because this is technically Brock Purdy's rookie year, if you think about it, because he took over the team like late, because Garoppolo freaking screwed the pooch as usual. Last year. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. And I will also let you know what's going on with Ned as well as things develop. And that'll be it for today. Thanks, guys. Looks like one.
I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time. Thank you very much. But I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by when over like a matchbox stereo. Give my bust now, let go. Bound to keep me up all night. But maybe we can burn.
right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole top stopping and stepping with her head like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Run me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting messy. Working up and down your body. Run me up and down like a pony, turning up my song on your body. Baby, when you down to it all now. Baby, we can fuck again, and maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know. Maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
Resetting Podcast has been a publication and a video production of The Rational Male. Registered trademark 2024, all rights reserved. Don't steal. Ned stuff.
She's not a Christian.
Well, sometimes you don't get no hoes, man.
I feel like I just took a bath in battery.
Maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? And maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Best of my life.
Say my name.
Guilty, 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 guilty.
You're goddamn right.
Tell that bitch to be cool.